observations on a whole job to something that you don't want to have.
You're recording?
Right now we're like, hey Madison, we are back. We have a remote agent. But I'll let you guys know when it's on and when it's not, but for the most part it will be on.
You said you also needed our actual license number, right?
Picture of your, which license are you?
The insurance, like you said you need the MPN and our license number?
Yes.
Okay, making sure.
Don't be weird. I just have year-round allergies. It's like all this stuff.
You have allergies.
Year-round
Gosh, oh my gosh. I'm gonna be so
Well,
scared.
everybody's all nervous about
I'm
COVID.
not
Like
nervous.
they see you blow your nose or use nasal spray and they think you're like sick or something.
You know
So
what?
now I have to tell everybody, I got allergies out here, I got my allergy eye drops, I got my allergy spray.
You know what? Let me ask you a question. Do you personally know anyone that has had COVID?
Let me tell you something.
No,
I've only met a few.
you don't.
No, a few, because I've been bartending, and I've been bartending the whole time except for like three months or whatever. And all these people that I meet, I've only met maybe 5 people since March.
Yes, there you are. Okay. Now, here's the thing. It's not about the COVID. It's actually, the focus is about getting everybody to take that vaccine.
Well,
I don't think this is appropriate
So,
for
yeah, we're not
conversation
gonna have,
now.
we're not gonna
Ma'am,
have those
you need,
discussions.
Really? Because you
We're
just
not-
said back me up.
We're not gonna do that.
It's
okay.
like political
Yeah.
conversation.
Is it always?
Yeah.
Considered.
Well, I apologize. I mean, it's
No
just,
problem, Rita.
it's, you would rather we don't discuss COVID at all?
No.
Okay,
Let's
no
not.
problem.
Let's not.
No problem. However, I don't recall, is this person over here my manager?
Well, that is, we know that that's not the case.
Oh, okay.
There should be one, but I'll bring it back if it. Okay, so we're going to give the ladies 2 more minutes and then we're gonna get going.
And what started that is she's using nasal spray and I wanted to let her know, you know, it's nothing to worry about.
Understood.
I'm not scared. Ma'am, just like if I ask your name.
Susan.
Oh, easy name, Susan. You done insurance before, I can tell from your voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have, haven't you?
Absolutely.
I can tell. You've been at this a while, haven't you? Since before 2009 or after?
I'm sorry?
I got my license in 2009.
Oh, okay, okay, awesome. I'll get my license next week.
And
you're gonna sit over
here because it's way cheaper.
Really?
Oh my gosh. I was like, right
It
under
is,
it.
that
and
fence is
like,
like right
no,
there.
no.
I'm gonna have to
That
go.
fence
was
was
good.
Girl, I know,
Thank
my
you.
nose will start running,
Oh,
allergies,
yeah.
and then everybody will think I got COVID.
You know,
Girl, I'm
like,
gonna need you to.
Now you're trying to go with that.
She said, I bet everybody will think I got COVID. It's the worst. Me and my daughter have the worst sinus problems, and we have this huge oak tree in our backyard.
1, 2,
So,
3,
like,
4, 5, 6,
It's
7.
So she had the
Eight.
bad case?
Okay, so let's reconvene. So what it's a little hot. Is it hot or is it?
It's
No,
warm,
this is
it's
fine.
really
No,
warm.
It's
It's
just
nice.
started moving and shaking. I'll be fine in a second then. All right, so by now everyone should have taken at least a peek at their binders and have a general idea of some of what we will be touching on. It is a lot of us in here, so let's be mindful of that. when, having side conversations and or, okay, that works. Thank you. With side conversations and with sharing, because we'll be here till December if there's a lot of, so we'll have some interactions and some open discussions and some role playing and all of that, but I know we'll touch on stuff and some of you have some experience, some of you guys don't, but let's minimize the sharing so that we can get through training as smoothly as possible. Is everyone finished with these? Cause
Yes.
I'm taking them so I can go drop them off here shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
NPN and license
Oh,
number,
sorry.
if it's not inside, I have yours, I'll put it on for you. Thank you.
And I emailed you mine.
Okay.
Yep, social license, licenses and everything, I should find, national producer number, everything but South Carolina.
Okay. So also in addition to minimizing size combo, just focus, I know Andrew touched on that, but focus because it is a lot of information that we will be going over. And what we don't want to do is have anyone that wasn't paying attention ask a question about something that was covered and take us all back there. So just be mindful of being here, being present, being aware. If you guys have questions, write them down. We will probably touch on it, but just in case, write them down so that if it's something that you thought of, someone else may also have that question as well. Yeah. So Zero Sales Talents is, we'll listen to, because there are some videos that Andrew has done, and he's so wonderful and so himself that we'll listen to videos. We'll discuss it a little bit and keep it moving. The goal is to at least get a call listened to before the day is out, but we're just gonna kind of go through the information and see what we get. So there was a video emailed to you guys. Did everyone get a chance to listen to that? Just the intro video? Mm-hmm. It's just an overview. So if you haven't, you didn't miss anything, but check that email. The same email that you got, I'll send it to you. Okay. Requesting your information, it's a link in that same email. All right, so Ms. Madison, if the video starts and you cannot hear it, then just let me know so I can turn it up. And a lot, so.
Great breeze.
Oh, that, so Jason's taken stills of random, stills and he's put them around the office.
That's
so,
great.
And they're the worst ones.
That's
A lot of what we are going to discuss, like mentioned before, the whole wax on, wax off, it's mindset, it's thought, and how you're thinking of all of this. This is not a regular sale. This is an emotional sale. People don't call looking for simplified issue file expense coverage. A lot of the people that we speak to have no clue that it even exists. So keeping that in mind and even being mindful of where you are, what you're doing is big, and it's a lot of this job. You're going to be spending anywhere from an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours on the phone with clients. So you want to make sure that your head's in the right place because it is a lot of mental. You could have a day where you talk to 6 or 7 people. You could have a day where you talk to 2 or 3 and you have a good rapport and you close them. But either way, the goal is to have 6 hours of talk time a day. The more people you talk to, the more time you're talking, the more likely you are to make the money that you want to make. So with that being said, you do want to be mindful of where your head is when you come in the building. If it's stuff that you're dealing with, we all have stuff. Leave it outside, pick it up after you get off, because nobody's going to pick your stuff up for you. It will be there waiting when you leave. So we like to call the floor sacred ground, the garden, call it what you want to. If you have a day where you're not feeling the best, don't give that to everyone. Now we are adding 8 women, 7 women to our floor right now. People, period. But you know, we have our days. So be mindful of that. You don't want to give your mess to anyone else. The goal is to come in here and to feel good leaving, to come into an environment where even if you're not having a good day, so many other people are that you get that versus you spilling and it trickling onto the floor. So we are very, very big on, even most of our morning meetings are going to be about mindset, about, you know, all the things that really make you the best version of yourself. Because if you're the best version of you, then you're going to do good at your job and outside of here as well. So be mindful of that. Take it all in. Again, don't feel overwhelmed. It's a lot of information, but a lot of really good stuff. And it's not going to be stuff that you're just going to use here. It'll be stuff that you should use outside of here too. I think one of the reasons why I was able to do so well right out of training was because a lot of the zero sales talent things were things that I'd already been consciously working on for myself. So it just seemed so natural that that's a big part of the focus here, is just the things that have nothing to do with selling. And you're not thinking of making or selling, you're thinking about finding solutions for friends, making a friend, providing a solution for them to protect their family when they're not here. So keeping that in mind, the sales will come, the money will come, everything will come if you go into it with the right mindset. So, with that being said, we'll let Andrew say it a little more colorfully than I.
Hey guys,
Hey.
quick video on expectations. Okay, I know that we all want to know what the expectations are. We probably have them for ourselves. I hope that we do. But I want to be real straightforward with it, because the expectations here are very simple decisions that we can make. And if we do, we make money, we grow, and we get better. And
Do you hear that, Madison?
every day when we come in is how to help people, how do we get better? So, for you folks that are training from home, remotely, we have a few at-home agents, but this is the first time that we've ever done the full training for folks at home. The people that are at home now were currently in the office at one point, went through the normal training, so we know that a little bit more, right? Here's what I can tell you. Everybody, not just the folks that are at home, you are going to have the leads. You're going to have the sales process. You're going to have the support. You're going to have all the intermediate in between things, all the points of contact and reference, a couple of the best carriers and products that there are. Now, if it was just that, you should be able to say, okay, let's go. We're going to try and get better and better at how we communicate, how we get the information to you, how we answer questions to help you get ready and prepared. At the end of the day, within a week and a half, 2 weeks, you're going to be prepared and ready. Now, there's still going to be ongoing trainings and question and answers and all different things. But the expectation is that you're here to make money. If you're here, then you have somewhere in our conversations, you mentioned wanting to help people, right? That was a big one for me. The other expectations are pretty simple. We talk about them a lot in our little live meetings and throughout our existence. And each of the expectations are decisions that one makes or doesn't make. None of the expectations that we have involve sales talent or talent of any kind, right? They involve decisions that anybody makes or doesn't make. And I try to outline those in the most simple way possible, because when we make those decisions, we are put in a place where helping people and making money, it has to happen. When we don't make those decisions, we leave open areas for things to go not how you maybe want them to go. And it's human nature when that happens to not look at themselves immediately and say, am I doing all the things that involve zero sales talent? Am I making those decisions? Usually our reaction is to look outward as, well, I didn't know this, or I didn't get that, right? So we want to have accountability. We're going to have everything we need. The 10 things that require zero sales talent is being ready to work, right? When you get to the office or when you're logging in at home, you're set up. You know where your tabs are. You know what the day looks like. You visualize a little bit about callbacks, organization, and you're ready to go. It's a decision, right? We make or we don't make. Work ethic, willingness to work hard. For you at-home agents, the minimum amount of sales in a month to continue receiving leads, we have a few people that do that in a week, 10 days, right? So if you want to do the bare minimum, technically you can, as long as you're not wasting, right? But I hope that that's not the case with any of you. I hope that all of you want to make a lot of money and grow and get higher commission percentages and help the business get to a point where we can do even more for you. Work ethic. Third one is effort. Decide to put forth the best effort you can. Fourth one is body language. Now, you might think that's just for folks in the office, but it's not. Body language is such a subtle communication tool that a lot of us don't always think about and realize. But when I'm on calls with people, whether it's folks at the different brokerages or uplines at the carriers or the guys that own the call center and the brokerage, anybody, I'm doing it right now. You see me. I'm here with you right now, present in my body language. If you couldn't hear my voice, it's still saying something, right? I'm not saying you gotta be like that. Everyone is their own, but be aware of how you're sitting, how you're moving, how your face is moving when you talk. We have an exercise we do where before shift we'll read what are they called? The riddles, word tongue twisters, like elephant, but elephant. We do it because we're getting that body language, that mode, and it's a decision that we make or we don't make. Positive attitude, okay? You're gonna hear me talk about attitude because I truly believe that there's only one thing in life that we control 100% of the time. And you've probably heard that cliche a lot, control what you can control, forget about what you can't. Well, in my experience, there's only one thing that we 100% control 100% of the time. There's a lot of things that we have mostly control over most of the time, and we think that we can control those things because we do for the most part, but there's only one that we have 100% control over 100% of the time, and that's the way we dedicate ourselves to the way we think about whatever happens. And that's my definition of attitude, good and bad, the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think about whatever happens. If you choose to think with non-judgment and learning and getting better in every situation, no matter how unfair it may seem, you got a great attitude all the time, and things will start to go your way. The ball will bounce in your direction if you're constantly taking a good attitude about the way you think about whatever happens. I tell this to my kids all the time, and they'll come up with something that's not fair. So in my house, we have a saying, it's called not fair, who cares? Right? Not fair, who cares? Not fair exists in all of our lives all the time, and by very definition, isn't your fault. Now, when you can have something that's genuinely not fair happen, and you can say, I choose how I think, poof, next thing, and move forward. Now you're really starting to grasp what having a great attitude is. And when you have that great attitude, the inward effort to have a great attitude shines through in everything else on the outside, from your interactions to with customers, to other people, the conversations, everything is easier. It's a decision, not always an easy one, but it's a decision that we make or we don't make. Being passionate about what you do. Final expense is so special. A lot of these folks don't even know that these policies exist. They tucked away and suppressed this. What happens when I know my child doesn't have this, and they're not gonna be able. I know my partner won't be able to afford that, but I'm too old or I'm too this, and I can't. And then we call and we get to inform them that these programs are designed for people living on fixed or limited incomes. People don't even know they exist, and we get to help them understand that there is something, and they are so grateful for that. But in order for you to get through and build rapport and all the things in the quick fit modules and the stories that you going over with you and that are in the script, you gotta have some passion. You gotta care. Make the decision to care. Being coachable, number 8. Being coachable. Every single person in the world can get better no matter how great they are at whatever they do. You know, I was a basketball coach, so I do a lot of basketball analogies. This is what I know. And Larry Bird, one of the greatest shooters of all time, highest free throw percentage in NBA history, was at the gym every morning, an hour before everybody else, shooting free throws. He just wanted to get better. Kobe Bryant, one of the best players ever in the offseason, is taking ballet classes, right? Because he wants to get better on his feet. So when I talk about being coachable, once you get rolling a little bit, and we get into some calls, or maybe you have a question about a mod, or you're not converting somewhere, and Miss Marine or myself or any of our resources get with you and say, okay, right here or right there, this is what we're gonna do. If you react with, well, that's not my fault that happened, because this or that's not being coachable. No matter how great you are, no matter how many weeks in a row you're at the top of the leaderboard, and I'm saying, look at you, look at her, look at him. There's something you can get better at, and when it gets brought to you, make the decision to be coachable. Because I promise you, as long as you're here, you'll never get an interaction from anybody that doesn't come from a genuine place of caring about you getting better, about us getting better, and learning. And I take that's one of the biggest ones for me, because everything I'm saying to you, I'm saying to me. I need to be coachable all the time too. I learn new stuff every day from places and people that if I was closed off, I would never learn from. Be coachable. Number 9, do the extra things that need to be done for you to get and have what you want. Okay? Your success ultimately financially here, and as a great philosopher once said, in life will be in direct proportion to what you do after you've done everything you think you should do, or everything that you're expected to do. Okay? If you want to be the best of the best, if you really want to make great money and not just okay money, it's going to be in direct proportion to what you do after you do all the things you're expected to do. That's the fun I want to think on. Maybe I'll make a video about it sometime. Number 10, be prepared. Make the decision to be prepared. If you're stumbling in the morning, folks that are in the office, and it takes 40 minutes to get your stuff situated to where you can start talking to clients, which is the only way we're really making money, right? Or if you're at home and you're kind of just disheveled and right, get prepared. Everyone has it different ways. I still use a pad with a checklist. It's just something that before I leave for the night, I've got to set up as much as I know I have to do the next day on my checklist. And there's something about crossing stuff off. I get in the morning, I review it, I add to it. And that helps me be prepared for my day. Those are the 10 things that requires your sales talent, guys. Besides that, it's the fundamentals you need on every call. And the fundamentals of baseline skills to build off of. And those baseline skills are alpha call control. You invented final expense, okay? But you gotta believe it. Because no one is gonna believe anything you say unless they believe that you believe it. So be confident, because no matter where you are in the trading process or where you're going, you have infinitely more knowledge about final expense than the person you're speaking with. And if you don't know the answers, you know where to find the answers. Alpha call control. Emotion and tonality. You gotta feel. You gotta be able to bring that voice up in mod 4. You gotta imagine what it feels like. Because our entire process is not built on logical thought. It's built on emotion. Emotion and feeling helps the person understand that a thing exists that they were closed off to or maybe didn't want to pursue because they haven't met a you that was going to help them do it. They haven't met a you that's going to praise them and tell them stories and build rapport and get them to a spot where they feel comfortable saying, I need this. Can you help me? Emotion, tonality helps keep them focused on that as you move through. Rapport, plenty of other videos and information on that, you'll get to it. Active listening. This is a big one that gets lost in the shuffle sometimes. When you're on a call, especially when I was on a call, I'm closing my eyes, I'm hearing the voice, but I'm trying to listen. What's going on in the background? Do I hear an animal, a kid? Can I picture where they are? Based on what they tell me, can I hear what their voice is saying? Can I hear the emotion and tonality I'm getting back? That active listening is so important, not just for the information you're gathering throughout the call, but to connect with the person that you're talking to. And it means so much to them. And it means a lot to you too. It's a fundamental. Something selling. Number 4, fundamental. Always assume the sale. Always agree with the objection and pivot. Always be assuming that this is a no. Obviously, this is something you need. It's an assumption. Now, we're not saying obviously sarcastically. It's a mindset, right? It's fundamental. Hope and praise. Lots of videos on that too. We're giving these folks hope. A lot of them have not talked to anybody who genuinely is interested in anything they have to say for a long time, and they certainly have not been praised. Praise them. Praise them. Praise them. Find ways to praise them. Add value to them. You add value to yourself. And the last one is certainty and decision statements. It's a fundamental because we speak it in the script, it's actually in there. I certainly love my family. The decision to protect them is important. I can see the decision to take action today is an important one to you, and I certainly believe that you're an amazing person. There's ways of literally saying the words, but there's ways of speaking certainty and decision into everything you do and every customer you talk to. And there is not a person who buys anything that doesn't want to do it with certainty. And if you can instill that into yourself as a fundamental and into the people you're speaking with, you're going to be so successful. You're going to be somebody who teaches me what to do for the next folks so they can be like you. And that's what I want more than anything. 10 things that require zero sales talent, all decisions we make, fundamentals we need on every call. Watch this video once a week if you need to. If you don't think you need to, watch it twice a week. So excited all you guys are here. These expectations are easy and fun. Knock it out of the park, guys.
Okay.
Ooh, all right. So, pretty straightforward, really good stuff. Assume to sell, yeah. But as far as the basics, the expectations, the zero sales talent thing, that is literally on the front of your binders. That's on there first and foremost, because those are things that seem so easy that you don't have to think about. And yeah, but those are things that you want to be aware of and you want to be prepared for. Being on time is big, not only off the floor, but while we're in training too, because again, we want to be mindful of everyone's time. But when you get out on the floor, you're gonna want to come in a little bit early. The shift technically starts at 9 o'clock, but to come here at 9 o'clock and think that you're gonna be ready to spend a day doing what you need to do, it's not very likely. So being willing and able to come in a little early so that you can prepare for the day.
What time do the doors open?
I got here at 6 o'clock this morning. Usually Andrew's here at 7. So you guys will have key fobs soon enough to come in and out of that door, but 7 o'clock, usually someone will be here. If not by 7, 8 o'clock at the very latest.
That's, yeah, the kids go to school right down the street, so.
So yeah, come in. Like I joke about living here, but I kind of I come in at 8 and I leave at 8. Not that I want to all the time, but even before training, like in order for me to really feel like, okay, I'm ready to go, I want to come in early. You're going to be getting emails from Prosperity to look over. You can get them sent to your phone so that you kind of are aware of what's going on. But even coming in, checking as your clientele builds, as your book of business builds, you're going to have more things to do. So we are creating a retention team to help with some of the stuff, but there's a lot that you're gonna wanna be aware of. These are your clients, this is your money. So you don't ever wanna leave that for anyone to be solely responsible for. So as you start building and getting more clients and you're gonna wanna touch base, you're gonna wanna know what's going on, you're gonna wanna prepare your day. Usually around midday, 12 o'clock-ish is when the front end takes their lunch. I believe it's 12:30 to 1:30. So calls slow down a little bit. Typically, I would use that time to make callbacks and do the stuff that, can be done. You don't want to take your lunch when they take their lunch unless you are prepared. If you have nothing going on and that's a good time for you to take a break, it's very open for you to be able to manage your own business. That is a huge benefit for people that are on top of their stuff and trying to manage their own business. But anyone that takes that as freedom and just lets everything fall to the wayside, you're setting yourself up for failure. So we're all adults here. Again, I'm very excited to see what you guys bring to the team. Create your own best habits from now, because you may get out there and you feel real relaxed, or you see that this person might not be doing all the things that you thought you do. You don't know what their paycheck looks like. You don't know how they're following up, even with putting good numbers up. If you're not keeping up with your stuff, you're not tracking your money, you don't know what anyone else's paycheck looks like. So make sure you're doing the things that you need to do to assure that everything that you have sticks, or, you want to be organized. You want to be on top of your stuff. So again, coming in early or staying a little later. The calls that come after 4:30 are beautiful calls. It's like the closing percentage of those calls are very high. So if you don't have to be out at 5:30 on the dot every day and you're able or willing to do that little bit extra, those calls are beautiful. People are getting home from work. People have more time there. It's just a slower time of the day.
What time do you call stop?
New business calls stop at 5:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30, depending on, typically it's 5:30, but they do have, we may extend the hours only because over the holidays, there was so much beautiful magic going on toward the end of the evening. It only makes sense to have that open. So as of now, 5:30 is when new business calls stop, but that may change. And the more of us that there are and the more opportunities to send calls over, we may be the thing that causes them to extend the hours. But it's really nice though. It's just a different feel during that time of the day. But if you get a call after 4:30, more than likely you're gonna close it. If you're following the process. So there's always that caveat. Accountability, being able to, okay, so be your own, if there's something that you need, ask. There is assistance, there are resources, there is a lot available, but if you're quiet about it, if your mouse, whatever it is, if it's something, you wanna make your desk your own, you wanna be comfortable at your desk, not comfortable to where you're falling asleep, but comfortable to where you know that you can sit down, locked in, and be able to go hard until it's time to go home. So if it's something that you need, ask. If it's a question that you have, ask. Jason's out there. Everyone on the floor is very open to helping. So if you have questions, we're not like, oh, leave me alone, this is my money. Everyone out there is very, very open to assisting. And then soon enough, you guys will be the ones that will be helping the next set of people that come in. So once you get out there, get used to it, get comfortable, ask your questions. Make this yours. And again, just be an advocate for yourself, because if it is something, again, you guys are almost doubling what we have right now. So it's going to be a lot of moving pieces. So speak up. If there's something you need, do not be shy, ask, and if it can be done, it will be done. If it cannot, we'll let you know and figure out something, but definitely speak up when you need anything. You guys have not gotten the full script on purpose, because you can look at the script and wonder, what is this? What did I sign up for? Hold on, it's 20 pages long, but it is broken down. You will keep hearing the words mods, mod 2, and then mod 4. You got modules. The script is broken down into 9 different mods to help you digest it easier, but also on the calls just to know where you are. And you can listen to a call and hear and know, oh, that's mod 2, they're building rapport, or oh, that's mod 5, he's starting to talk about the process or the product. You'll start to get that. Initially, it's just like, what? But we'll break it down. Everything will be very much understood. I'll print you guys a copy of the script, but you guys will have your laptops. Hopefully tomorrow, everyone has their computers. It's easier to have it on the screen. When we go out, you will have your laptop and 2 monitors. So it's a lot of moving and shaking. It's a lot of pieces and navigation. So that'll probably be the toughest thing once you are actually on the floor. It's just muscle memory, learning where to do this and how to do that. If you know the process and you take the script on like your binky and your blankie, he calls something else. The script is your Bible. Learn the script, get comfortable with the script. Once you have it, take it home. We'll get into it in here, but you don't want to be in here and sound like you've not looked at it the whole time. The more you are able to be conversational with the script, the easier it's going to be for you to sound conversational on the phone and really be able to sell. It's making it your own. So it's very detailed as far as how to get the point across, but you'll see as we go through that it's words on a page. Yes, you have to make it your own. You have to know the purpose behind each mod to successfully move through the mod. Because if you're just reading it, no one wants to talk about final expense coverage. No one wants to talk about death and life insurance. And so everything that is built into the script is intentionally built in to serve a purpose. It's neuro-linguistic programming. If you guys have not or are aware of that, either way, it is basically from the start of the script. You're getting them used to saying yes and agreeing with you, and it's a deeper kind of sell. It's a mindset that you have to be able to accept, acknowledge, soak in order to really deliver the process. So you'll learn the pieces, but you connecting the dots and understand, oh, that's why we do that here. And oh, okay, now it makes sense. That will really be what makes it all magic. It's a couple of older agents that have been here longer and came in kind of with their own style. And Andrew says it happens religiously. You get out of the script and then you come back to it and like, oh, you know what really works when you build rapport? I'm like, yeah, that's why the process is what it is. So if you do that and if you just be consistent with it, there'll be times where you'll find yourself kind of veering off, but bring it back. The easiest thing, if you have a day or 2 days or even a week where you're like, oh, I'm not getting it, it's probably because you've gone off of script. You're doing too much. You left stuff out. Cheesiness is huge. The demographic that we're dealing with, 50 to 80. There is no such thing as being too cheesy. They love it. You eat it up. Really, it's been like so I say in mile 4 is where we talk about emotional stuff. Priors are buyers. But even, you can't even get to mile 4 if you don't make them laugh at least a little bit in mile 1 or mile 2, the first part of the script. You get them to laugh, a little chuckle, you have a genuine, if you're forcing it, it sounds forced. But if you really make a connection, you get a little giggle, you're in there. They'll at least have a conversation with you and it makes it a lot easier. So lay on the cheese. They love it. Don't feel any type of way like, oh, I feel. Everyone around you is doing it. So don't feel like, oh, I don't like how that. Do it. We'll touch on it a little later on, but even like there's a congratulations where it's build up. It's a whole performance. The script is a performance. The process is a roller. You're dancing. You're leading and you're bringing them along on a dance with you. So there's a part in the dance where you dip them, you congratulate them. Oh, we got approved. And one of our past agents had this thing like, oh, you was approved. And it was like really over the top. And I'd heard it, I was listening to her, and they're like, cheesy, be cheesy. So when it was my first call, like during role play, you kind of hold back a little bit. But when I got on the phone, I was like, no, I'm gonna do this. So I went to congratulate her and I went, yeah, like it was terrible because I was going to do something that was just so outside of, I just caught myself in the middle of it like, no, this isn't me. So it's this weird sound. I think Jason has it recorded somewhere. It was not good. But I was trying to be cheesy and then I tried to bring it back because I was like, no, that's too much. But either way, it made for a good conversation. But yes, lay on the cheese. Do not be afraid. And really the whole thing is, and you'll hear it over and over, you're making a connection, building rapport, you're making a friend. If you are open to that, you will do great because that's the people that we're speaking to, not many of them, if ever, have had people just talk to them. So, or even praise them. Praise is huge, praise is huge, praise is huge. Even just praising someone will start to have them put their walls down. And you may get someone that says, no one's ever told me that. Like, I've heard that at least 3 or 4 times. Oh, you're so sweet. No one's ever said that. Or no one's nice to me. Like, it's heartbreaking, but it makes you feel good. And then you realizing why you're doing this so that they can help you help enough people get what they want, you will get what you want. So you're helping them to feel comfortable enough with you to have a conversation that they would not normally be willing to or able to have, and then you're also able to provide them with a solution at the end of that. You should feel really good at the end of your day if you are doing the process with the right intention. And that's something that's really, really fun. Even now that I'm not taking calls, I love taking calls because it's talking to people and it's building rapport. And I hear people on the floor like building rapport. I'm like, I want to take a call. Let me get on the phone. Let me take a call. Let me make a friend because it's really what it is. And you get to make money at the end of it. Yes, let me get on the phone. So keep that in mind. And this is gonna be probably your best job ever. And I say that because I feel that way. And like people that come out, they're like, oh my goodness, I've never been in this type of environment, or I've never had this. And it's really a good feeling. So,
You know something? I texted 2 people with exactly the same thing that you just said. I can show it to you on my phone.
I believe you. I believe you. And it'll keep happening. So be mindful of just present moments, and that in itself will. What is final expense? What is final expense?
The funerals, burials, cremation.
So there's literally a definition right in the table of contents. Read the definition from the table of contents.
What is, what page that on? Oh, okay, what is final expense? Small, affordable, permanent, whole life insurance policies regulated by the state, designed for people living on a fixed or limited income to protect their families against the rising cost of final expenses.
That is it. So, small, affordable, permanent whole life insurance policies regulated by the state of whatever state they're in. That definition is you're going to hear it over and over. You're going to say it at least once every time you talk to someone, at least once. But you want to make sure that you are clear with that, because that is what it is. A lot of people don't know that these types of policies exist. So you're introducing them to something that you want them to be aware of, comfortable with, and yeah, that is literally what it is. Small, affordable, permanent whole life insurance policies. These are not term policies, permanent whole life insurance policies. What is simplified issue?
Mo, Crystal has a question.
Yes.
Simplified issue means.
I'm talking to Crystal.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
It's okay.
Thank you. My question was, I know it's for people on like fixed income and whatnot, limited income. Is it also good for people with medical issues that would not normally be covered from another company?
So it's good for everybody. The whole final expense portion of it is just that they're smaller policies. So it literally is for anyone. That were regulated by the state, all life insurance is regulated by the state. So what you will realize is the wording that is used is intentional. Everything is true, but we're delivering it to people that don't know that. So it being presented as a state regulators, they feel special about, oh, this is for my state. Yes, please tell me more. So it is set up the verbiage is set up to be appealing to people, but it is really for anyone that, well, depending on the carrier, depending on the company, would be from ages 50 to 85. Prosperity specifically, who we will be focusing primarily on. Younger clients, we really don't have an option. There's a carrier that some of us are appointed with called Sentinel that does aid to younger people, but with Prosperity, and we'll get into it more once we break down the product itself, but they have, depending on what their health is, will determine how much it costs for them to be covered. But it is something that is really for anyone.
That's
Mhm.
good to know.
Yep,
That's good.
and Prosperity actually has some, and we'll get into it, but Prosperity has some really good benefits for people that aren't as healthy, that would typically just have a 2-year waiting period without coverage. They kind of have made that really attractive by some of the things that they still offer during that 2-year waiting period. So, did you have a question?
No, but I just wanted to say, I've sold timeshares and vacations, like cruises, and they have those 20-some page scripts too.
So yeah, we have a script. It's beautiful. We're going to learn to move through it so it doesn't feel like it's 20 pages. What is simplified issue, Ms. Crystal, with the K?
Insurance that can be approved and underwritten completely over the phone with no physical medical exam required.
Yes. So the reason why the policies can be issued over the phone and they are simplified issue is because they're smaller amounts. It can be up to $35,000 with Prosperity. Some other companies may go up to 50, but it's a small enough amount to where the risk is small for the insurance carriers, where they're comfortable with issuing it without them going to a doctor's appointment and having to jump through all the hoops and hurdles. And we before the call is over, we will be able to provide them with an option for coverage without it taking weeks or years or months. There's a small percentage that you may get off a call with Prosperity. They're really good about letting you know on the call if the client's approved, but there are sometimes instances where something the client may have said does not match with the MIB. Everyone is MIB, yes, yes.
we know
There are small instances where something may not match and it, medical information bureau.
Yes.
Okay.
I should been black.
Some people, so there are references to the Men in Black. Some agents will make a joke like, you know, the Men in Black, because that's kind of what they're doing. They're digging and they're checking your medical history. So there are instances where they may not be able to tell you immediately over the phone because something's not matching with what's coming up versus how the client answers the question. In those instances, then it is sent for further underwriting review, which we'll get into more going forward. But before you get off the call, 99% of the time, you'll know, the client will also know that they've been approved, what they've been approved for, and they'll be set. So, AEP, Andrew touched on that earlier, because this is how you will determine what your paycheck is or how much you're going to get paid, but annual earned premium is the AEP. So you'll hear that a million times over. I know sometimes it's referred to it's other things, but here AEP is annual earned premium, and it's just the monthly premium times 12. Pretty straightforward. So fundamentals needed on every call. Andrew touched on those in the video. These, and it may again sound like, okay, I get it, but these things are really, really key. Yeah.
We have a new
There, I already got my M&Ms.
Give me a hug before you go. You got the stick. You gonna stick me to that? Hi, you come to sell something? You was looking for me? Oh, I'm training. Okay. Bye. That is one of our agent's sons. I love that little kid. He is So what is so funny about us, and you'll realize because rapport build is so big, 20 minutes of your call, you're going to just be talking to your clients. You want them to talk more, but one of the things we do is pay them back. We say that our stories are currency. You're paying the client back for sharing so much with you. So you're asking them questions and digging and finding out about their family and so on and so forth. And then you want to share. You want to give them something back. So you'll hear about everybody's family. I knew so much about that little child before I met him because his dad talks. You talk about your family on the phone. So it will start to, like, you'll get close to the team because part of your job is just talking. So that's OZ, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, alpha call control. Somebody take that one away.
You are the final expense expert. Even if you're unsure, speak with certainty, act as if, and be in control.
Yes. From the time the call comes through, you want to differentiate yourself between who transferred it and yourself. So you want to have that voice inflection. You want to take alpha call control right off bat. If they feel like they can talk over you, they can tell you anything, and you're going to let them and just the call's dead right up front. Or you'll get to my 5, 6, 7, give them all the information, and then they're gone. So being able to speak with authority and have them listen right up front. Again, this is something that half of them don't know exists or don't care to talk about. Or so you having that alpha call control, you do want to be pleasant, but you don't want to let them take over the call at any point. At the beginning of the script, if they have questions, and we'll talk about it when we break down mod 1, but if they have questions, you acknowledge and then you move right back. Where there's no dialogue back and forth in the first part of the call, because number one, you want to find out if they even qualify to talk to you. You don't want them to give you a 10-minute story, a 20-minute story, and then they not have a bank account, or they have COVID, or they have something that would knock them out of moving past the first module. So being pleasant, yes, but you do want to take alpha call control right up front because that sets the tone for the entire call. If you come off immediately as just letting them go, then you're not going to be able to get through the script at all, and they're going to win. So that is huge, 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 huge. Number 2, emotion and tonality, Miss Andrea.
The sale is a journey that you are taking the client on. No one wants to go on a boring journey. Use emotion in your voice, bring your tone up and down to hypnotize your client into making a decision today.
Yes. So today, of course, we want the first call close is big. You'll have people that for whatever reason they can't stay on the phone. They need to set up a callback. What you want to make those as minimal as possible. You want to try to get as much done to get them hypnotized and get them through the process. But you won't be able to accomplish that if as soon as they come over, you sound dry, you sound uninterested, you're half asleep, you don't know which way is up. They're going to feel that. Our voice is literally our tool. That is what you have. That is really all that you have because you're on the phone. So if they get transferred from someone that is sending over, the goal for the front end is to get 30, 40, 50 transfers a day. So that's a 2-minute call that they're just trying to sound happy enough to let them stay on the line so that when you get on the line, they stay on the line with you for at least 2 minutes. That is their goal. So their objective is completely different than ours. So we want to make sure that from the time the call gets passed on to you, you sound ready, you sound excited, you sound like a different vibe from what they got. Oh, I am a professional. I am an agent. Now, you're just not talking to anybody. I'm an agent. I'm going to give you this information. Let's go. I'm glad to talk to you. Wonderful stuff's going to happen. Get ready for this ride. And you want to capture that within the first 30 seconds of the call, they're deciding whether or not they're going to talk to you. They're deciding how to get off the phone with you. So again, having the alpha call control and speaking with some authority is going to make them want to listen. But again, your tone, your voice, your inflection, all of that, they don't rah, 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 rah. Who wants to talk to that? Who wants to listen to that? Who wants to open up to that? So you want to make sure, be bubbly. If your personality is not over the top, don't try too hard to be over the top because it will come through. But you also want to sound like you enjoy what you do, which again, you will. But you want to make sure that you're giving that to your clients or your prospects. Miss Toy, report.
A harmonious relationship between people that understand each other's feelings and ideas and communicate well. We need this if they are going to believe you.
Oh, yes. Rapport is literally, it should probably be number 1, but you got to do the other stuff to get to the rapport part. So, rapport, you will hear that all day. We will figure out ways to master that. If you guys have looked forward, there's a document in there that talks about building rapport. It's huge. If you do not have rapport built, so what's funny is people will talk to you, either they have time or they just want to get pricing and they'll go through the motions. If you've not built rapport in Mod 2, the second portion of the script, the chances of you closing that call, unless they just desperately need insurance, which most people just don't call desperately needing final expense coverage. But if you have not built rapport, they'll let you talk because you're nice and they don't want to be rude, but if they don't feel connected to you, it's so easy to tell somebody that you barely like or don't even know bye versus them having that connection with you, building that rapport and them being willing to take advice from you as a friend on, we're trying to help your family, because that's really what it is. But if you don't have that connection, they're not going to take advice from you. They're not going to take suggestions from you. It's not there. And this is the type of sale that requires emotion. And in order for you to get them to show you emotion, you have to make that friendship. So brush up on your skills, guys. If you don't like people or don't know how to talk to people, and try it, like the stuff that you learn here, try it outside of your grocery store. Make friends. And it's more than just for work or for money. It just, people lose that whole connection thing, especially with everything going on today. we're losing a lot of the socialization so you want to make sure that you're keeping your skills sharp, period, but also because it's going to help you be better here as well. So we'll talk about rapport till you're tired of hearing it and you'll be having conversations with yourself in your sleep because rapport is big.
Anyway.
So active listening, Mrs.
Listen to what your customer is saying with all your attention and intention. They will tell you how to build rapport if you listen.
Oh yeah. So active listening, there will be a point. If you have someone on the phone that is tough and they're not giving you anything and number one, you want to be actively listening, period, because that's just good. More people are ready to speak than they are to listen. So the better you are with actively listening, the more genuine you sound, that you remember stuff and you'll actually be able, instead of being so ready to say what you have to say and, this comes up next in the script, just listen, especially because there are two particular mods. Rapport building is mod 2, and then the emotional fact find is mod 4, where you get them to talk about previous experiences with paying for coverage and things like that. Those are not that the whole script is not important, but those are 2 mods where you have to, throughout the call, you want to be actively listening, but that's where you're going to get them to do a lot of talking. So you want to be able to be comfortable enough with just listening in those moments and picking up on key things that they say and taking notes and writing it down and bringing up the dog's name that they mentioned 3 minutes ago when they just yelled at the dog because he was doing too much. That's going to be key. They're going to love that you have done that. So think about that when they're giving their stories about people that they've lost or whatever the case may be. You want to be able to be listening. You want them to feel like they are heard. You don't want to ask them a question and then when they're answering or responding, you tune out. So be mindful of that. That can make or break. If you ask someone the same question 2 or 3 times, dead in the water. They're gonna, she doesn't even care what I'm saying. And anything you say past that, they'll listen maybe, but they're not gonna give you anything back. So active listening is
Most people listen to speak instead of listening to learn.
so when you genuinely are listening to learn and you get what they're saying, that feels good. Everyone wants to be heard. So again, the last thing you want to do is ask them to open up, and as they open up, you're just ready to jump in and ready to give your story. Your story is supposed to be currency for what they've given you. If you're just ready to tell your story, they could care less about your dog and your son and your husband. And, okay, I don't even know you. But when it seems like, I'm telling you this because you told me all that, and I love what you said about your people, and let me tell you about mine, that's a whole different energy exchange than you're ready to say that as soon as we started talking. You just like everybody else. This is different. Like you want to set because they have either gotten more often than not, we are the first call that they get because within 30 seconds of them submitting the information request, someone on the front end's called them. But after you hang up the phone, they'll probably get 37 to 809 calls after you. You want to make sure that you have built that bond, you've built that rapport, you've made that connection with them to where they don't even want to talk to. Oh, no, I have an agent. No, I'm good. And you want them to be able to shut that down. Kenny and Nelson, there are 2 master agents. We'll call them that because I love them. But they will, Kenny particularly, Nelson gets emails and thank you, you've been so wonderful. I love you to death. And will come to my wedding. Kenny, I think a couple weeks ago, he had someone call like, they try to call and sell me insurance. And I told them, like, she called to tell on the people that were calling her because they made that connection. And you're going to have that. You're going to have people. There's a client of mine that called me when COVID started. She said, I just wanted to make sure that COVID didn't get you because I don't want you to die. Because if you die, then I'm like,
Oh my God.
But she was really just checking in on me.
They'll send you gifts.
Yes, they will. And we have thank you cards out there as well to where if you have a connection with someone and you want to do something a little extra, You can pick up a thank you card, notate it, and leave it. Jason will mail it out when he mails out the welcome letter. So those little things, if you have a really big policy too, that's not a bad thing to send, just so they know that it's a thank you. Thank you for letting me help you protect your family. Whatever, it's blank, so you can really put what you want. But it might even not even be a big policy, but just someone that you know you really connected with, or that you just enjoyed speaking with, or that had hell going on outside of the conversation and they opened up to whatever the case may be. It's nice to do that little bit extra. So those are there for those calls when you feel the need.
I've participated in a lot of active listening activities, and one of my favorites was we were given a list of questions, and then they put on a fragment of a song that has a lot of detail. One of the hardest ones, believe it or not, is The Grinch, because there's so much information about the size of his heart, or what he did, or everything. And so you get these list of questions, and you have to listen to that clip of it, and then you have to answer the questions with a time limit. You can't sit there and even think about it because you're active listening,
Yeah.
and you can't write while it's going on.
Oh, see, now that's that's where I'm
Because
at.
it's all
That's
about
a memory activity. I think
Yeah.
that's
Right, but
right.
it's-
Will I remember it is a different
Well,
story. So.
Well, it wasn't about getting it all right. It was just about how much you
Making sure
could
you-
collectively remember that you were actively listening on. It was a lot of fun. It was so much fun to see how you progressed after each activity, even because you started getting a hang of it. And so, I mean, even though to this day I always have a notepad down and I'm jotting things down as things are happening. Oh, I heard a dog. Oh, there's a baby. Oh, they said they have off on Tuesday. I'm writing it all
So you
down.
want to do that.
And
You want
just
to take
taking
notes throughout the call, just because even bringing certain things back up to them will have them feel like, oh, okay, she was listening, not knowing that you have 17, all the kids' names down. And you don't want to, because I'll hear people say, and what's that name? How do you spell that? You don't want them to feel like you're taking notes. You don't want them to feel like they're on an interview. You want it to be conversational. So keep that in mind. But yeah, notes are huge. Notes are huge. Assumptive selling. Ms. Hannah.
Keep the mindset of assuming yes to everything. Assume it's a sale. Assume they want to buy, and assume greatness.
Yes, assume greatness. Andrew also says, if you have greatness in your heart, let it out, because that's a beautiful thing to do. But you want to go in and be aware that, okay, yes, that may not be the case, but you moving forward and like feeling as if you have something that is wonderful, what you do. This is an excellent, Prosperity is a really, really good product. We have other carriers. Prosperity themselves so far is my favorite. Not only their underwriting process is very smooth, and we'll get into that more detail when we talk about them specifically, but you do have something that is really good. You do have a solution for a problem that everyone's gonna have. They make us have car insurance. They make us have health insurance. You may never go to the doctor. You may never get in a car accident. Homeowners insurance. I've paid it for years. I never had it. I'm not taking that. But you
likely will never have
a So, but everyone is going to die. We don't know when, but that is one insurance that you know at some point in time you are going to have to use. So you have something that everyone needs. So you should feel very confident and very excited to present this piece. I have something that you want. You shouldn't feel like you're bothering them or, oh my goodness. No, you should feel proud of the fact that you have got your license, you're offering an opportunity, you're making a connection. Like, you should want to talk to me. What do you mean you have to go? No, I'm going to tell you some really good information, and we're going to get this out and get you. So you want to feel as if everyone you speak to, because they all need it, that they're going to get it from you. If you need something and you're talking to me, then I'm going to give you what you need, because guess what? I have this process and it's beautiful and let's get it going. So definitely want
Especially in
to.
that age bracket.
Huh?
I said, especially in that age bracket, because if they ain't already got it, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Sooner rather than
So
later.
that's correct. And a lot of those people in that age group, that some people will have coverage, and just because they have policies does not mean that we're not going to offer them something, because we can sell alongside. We may have something that's better. Who knows? But If they don't have it, if they do have it, a lot of people don't know about these policies, and we're gonna inform them of it and get them something wonderful, hopefully. And if at the very least, they'll make a friend, and you'll make one too, and get some information to them. So, yeah, you want to definitely practice assumptive selling. Hope, praise, empathy. Give them hope in your stories. Praise every decision they make. Be empathetic with every situation they tell you about. All of that. Praise, you'll hear praise. You'll have praise statements pinned up on your cubicle. That is one of the keys to having people open up, is telling them that they're awesome for making the decision to protect their family. Even speaking certainty and decision, they haven't even, before they even realize it, you're telling them you're making such a wonderful decision. You're sprinkling that into them. So they don't want to tell you, I don't want to, you've already told them, you are so wonderful for doing this. Just everything. You love your family so much. That is so awesome. Praise is huge. So there are praise statements. If you guys go to page 5, and you will hear how people's voice change. That was one of the things I wanted to touch on with building rapport. If you have a difficult client on the line and they're so dry, you're asking them questions, they're really short, and then they say, I have grandkids, and their voice change, and now they want to go down the road about how they stay there. Talk to them about these grandkids, because that is a hot spot. Being able to actively listen and pick up on that, and being able to circle around that and let them go there. There it is. That's the door. They just open it, walk on through, because now you've allowed them to get connected to you. And then you should have a story. We'll get into stories and break it down so that you have a story for situations. But being able to hear that change of pitch and run with it and ask them a follow-up question. You don't just ask a question, move on. Ask a question or two behind it to really let them get to talking. We want them talking. You do want to alpha call control, be able to bring it back, but you want to get them talking. So you'll see how all of the information and what we touch on is pieces building on the whole mindset behind the process. But you want to be able to do all of these things at the same time so that you can really deliver the process the way it needs to be done in order to create a sale or get your policy help your client cover their family. The praise statements, get used to them, find your own. It'll be some that you'll just naturally have as a go-to, but you don't want to have a crutch statement that you say so often that it no longer feels genuine. And you say it so much that they're saying it before you because that's what she says. Or, and there's no feeling behind it or you're just in a rhythm of saying, wow, you're awesome. That they tell you something about somebody that died and you hit them with a wow, you're awesome. And it's happened.
Sarcastic, they can tell that you're sounding sarcastic.
And it's who wants that? It takes all of the personality and all the personalness away when it sounds canned. So if you find yourself getting in a rut or you are having a day where you're just like, why are they? You probably haven't praised enough. So come to the document, change it up, switch it up, put a sticky on your cubicle so that you have a new one or a fresh one, or put a couple of them. Do something to keep yourself sounding fresh, feeling fresh. But the praise, drop as much praise as whatever it is, praise them for.
Just for your dog.
You love dogs. You want to, and in all seriousness, it makes people feel good to get that praise. So you don't want to, I guess you could overdo praising, but especially if it's not genuine. But they might just think, oh, she's so loving. She must be a hippie. I don't know. She loves everything. But she's praising everything. But if it's genuine, and you might just have someone that's pretty awesome, you can tell them that you're so awesome. It's not easy to have these types of conversations day in and day out, but it's so nice to talk to someone as pleasant as you. I could talk to you all day, whatever sounds and feels right, but do not leave it out. Do not skip it. Do not think that, they don't need it. even with men, you'd be surprised. Men, they like
They
that.
like it.
They
They do.
really do like, and they need
Ego
it.
goes to the next.
Listen, it is. It is. So be mindful of that. Older people love that. And again, who knows what type of day they're having, what type of life they've had. If they've given you a bunch of heavy stuff, make them feel good. Make them feel good, not just because of the process of the policy, because why not? You have an opportunity to make someone feel good. Use it.
Mo, I have a question about the age bracket that, 55 to 85. Are the prosperity products, is that one of the qualifying factors is to be within that age bracket?
Yes.
Is there a reason why? Because it seems like, whether you're 20 or 2, we're all gonna die, like you said, so why not gear it towards every person?
Other companies do offer coverage for younger ages. Like I said, there's one that we use, Sentinel, they zero. I've written an infant a policy. Prosperity themselves, for whatever reason, that's the demographic that they only offer. They have term policies also, which may give a little bit more as far as the ages, but with the new Vista that we're dealing with, it's 50 to 85. It might be 80. I don't know why.
Are we only working with prosperity right now?
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they'd be filtered out through the
Front end.
front end, so you wouldn't get anybody, shouldn't anybody.
Right. So you should not get anyone under 50. If you do, and you'll get their birthday, one of the first things you verify is their date of birth. So you'll know right up front if they are too young. If they are, there's a call dismissal script where you can let them know someone else will give you a call back. The simplified issue programs or the state regulated programs I have access to, you have to at least be 50. So I have someone that has access to other coverage, give you a call back and let it go. But yeah, prosperity is 50.
That was my question, how you said that maybe 30 other people would call them when we got off the phone with them. How does it work with the leads? Because you guys contract with the other companies. Does it just like auto generate to whoever? Or just curious.
So, I don't know, I don't make up too much stuff, so I'll let you know the little bit that I do know. Don't make me lie.
She building more.
So they should not, anything that they transfer over to us, they should not still be calling. But there are other companies that have access to the leads. So we, again, will probably be the first to touch them. And once they send them to us, they won't send them to any other buyers, but there may be other companies that have their information as well.
So would it be like a transfer?
One more time.
It wouldn't be a call transfer for the other companies.
Right. They won't, our front end won't transfer them to anyone else once they've given them to us. But other companies that aren't connected to us may be calling them from other.
Oh, I see, from other lead generators. Okay.
Right.
We're on the phone, and I've sold a grandmother a policy on herself and her husband, okay? But they've got 5 grandkids, and she's telling me, I need final expense policies on them as well. How do you handle that?
You can let her know that you'll have someone give her a call. You can check to see who has access to Sentinel that does offer that coverage and reach out to a teammate.
Okay, so that kind of went into my question because you already know I'm a broker agent. I'm with CFG. They actually do from straight out the womb. It's kind of like Gerber. Actually, I'm with them as well. So you wouldn't be able to just keep that and write that for yourself.
No.
Okay.
You can talk to Andrew about that offline, but you can't sell anything but our policies.
No,
No, I'm just
on
saying,
that
just-
phone. No, yeah, like if they wanted to get their grandchildren that she was dating, yeah. You're like, oh, well, who are the parents or whatever the case is? I'll get their information, call them on my own time, or is it okay if I give you a call back in reference to your grandchildren at another time?
We'll touch on that
Yeah.
with Andrew just because we don't want to get into the conflict of interest
Mhm.
thing, but
Exactly.
we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
Good question. Praise word tracks. Word tracks are more so tools that kind of transition you throughout the call that you can use to just tie in anything that you have said previously and get you from mod to mod or statement to statement. So word tracks are another thing that are pretty cool when you'll get used to using them just in conversation and just to transition through the call. But that's also on that same page. Hope, praise, empathy, all of that. Trust the process. You will hear that over and over and over again and again and again, but it's really key. Not just here, but just period. If they jump on and they're asking you prices right up front, or that, trust me, it's a process. Got to get to know you in order to find you the best options, and you make them come along the ride with you. You don't let them dictate alpha call control. You get them to follow you in the dance. We will listen to a video about certainty and decision. We'll let Andrew talk and then we'll expound on it. But let's do another video. Is everyone good? Does anyone need 5? We'll do this and then we'll take a quick 5 or 10.
Oh, Mo, I keep eyeballing your shoes.
You like them?
Mhm.
Thank you, thank you. I think that's going to be a fun part of having so many.
They're polka dots, right? Am I looking at that right?
Hi, hey guys. So this is the first video I'm showing.
All right, let's
in
focus,
a
ladies.
little series of kind of the in-between, the magic of what's so important in our process. And a lot of it is going to be right there in the script, but without the whys, without the in-betweens, you find yourself over time not connecting with people, not speaking the certainty and decision, which is the topic of today's little video, into the pitch. And it has so much meaning. Everything in our process builds upon itself. And when you do it right, you speak it right, it's fun. The time flies and you're helping people. We're writing policies and having a good time. I have my notes up over on this other screen, so hopefully I don't forget anything. So let's jump right in. What does a person require in order to buy something in general? And why do people not make decisions? Right? So what people need in order to buy something is certainty, right? Is a firm conviction that something is a fact, makes them feel good. And we have to create that certainty. What prevents somebody from buying is fear, right? Lack of certainty, fear of making a bad choice, the unknown. So we install a lot of certainty and decision in our sales process. We say it, we speak it, we imply it. Basically, in our rapport builds, we're going to be trying to get that in there as often as we can, everywhere we can. Pushing and putting that certainty and that decision into our process. Now, it really only works when we are having the things that involve zero sales talent, right? The fundamentals, voice inflection. We come over and we build in the rapport build, mod 2. We get them to be, we make friends. We get to know what makes them tick, what makes their voice change from yes, okay, to, oh yeah, I have 2 kids, their names are this. Oh, you do? Tell me more. Do you like one more than the other? Ha ha. All the little things you learn from the videos. But we can't install certainty and decision without a relationship, without them believing that we are somebody that they can trust, and we build that through rapport. But once we do, certainty and decision is an opportunity that we can't miss if we want to write a policy and have that policy stick over time. Let's see. A good one is in the transition from mod 2 to mod 3, right? We're going to praise the customer, and we're in the storytelling. When we learn about storytelling and praise, we give back emotionally with our story. We got them to tell us something. We got them to open up. So now we're going to praise them for doing that. We're gonna give them back with our story, and then we're gonna speak certainty and decision along the lines of, thank you so much for sharing that. You're an amazing person. Congratulations on I can tell you love your family. I certainly love my family, and the decision to protect them is very important to me as well. Or I can see why the decision to protect your family is such an important one to you. I certainly love we can say the words. We're literally speaking it, but it has to be done, and it has to be done as many times as you can. We are creating a emotional connection that allows them to put their guard down and say, wow, I really do need this. I really do love my family, and I really do want to listen to the person on the other end of the line. A lot of people get taken advantage of, and there's walls built up, there's hesitation. We want to bring those walls down, and we want to genuinely have character, integrity, and help people. Different places that you can use certainty and decision throughout the process. Let's take when we get to mod 3, for example. We want to build doubt. We've asked the health questions, even if they're totally healthy. We're finding something that, a little bit of a red flag. So there's a few red flags here, but I'm certain why you've made the decision to protect your family. You don't want to get down the road and have this become worse, or get to a point where you become sick and you can no longer protect them. The decision is certainly an important one, and I can understand why it's so important to you. And then we're moving in. Certainty and decision statements are great transition statements as we move through the mods. You'll see them listed in the script as C and D statements. They're literally in the script too, so this isn't all imagination. This is the why. This is the energetic why they're in there, and they're important. There are different ways to execute them, but they are in the script for you. So feel that, because this entire process, emotion is just energy in motion. We've got to make them feel before they will put the guard down and listen to what we have to say. It's why we never talk about what kind of policy they might have or what they think or know about the policy they have before we're through mod 4 and into mod 5, because nothing that you say before you build rapport and praise and speak certainty and decision and build that relationship, nothing you say matters. You haven't earned it, and it's not about you, it's about them. And until we get to mod 5, when they're, okay, I hope that I get this thing, man, now Andrew, that policy that I had, what's the difference between this one and that one? Now they're ready to listen. If they tell you at the end of mod 1, yeah, I've got this policy, and you say, no, that's not good, they're going to instantly react. Who's this person telling me my decision that I made wasn't good? It doesn't matter if it was good or not. What matters is that you're bringing it up at a time when they don't know you yet. Certainty and decision. Speak it into your life and watch the magic that happens, let alone on the calls.
That is huge. That's huge. Like I said earlier, sprinkling it in there just in conversation, and you have to be certain about your decision to follow the process. Once you are, then it makes it a lot easier for you to speak that into the clients. And again, knowing how good of a product you have, the fact that you do have something that can help, being aware of, being open to all of that is huge for you to get and then to deliver to the client. So there are some certainty and decision statements literally built into the script, like Andrew stated, but you want to do that as much as possible, because it's a lot harder for them to not go with it, because you've already told them, oh, you're so wonderful for making this decision, and I love that you are putting this in place, and I can certainly tell why you would want to do this. You're asking questions and dropping nuggets throughout. You're leaving breadcrumbs, and they don't even know what's to come, but you do, and you're doing all of this with a purpose. So as you're going through the script, again, making it yours and understanding why you're saying certain things and why it's telling you to do this. It's not just because, and it's not just the cheese, but the cheese is part of the recipe. Question?
No.
Okay. And emotion, energy in motion. Again, this is an emotional sale. So emotion is huge. You'll have people that will cry. And I say criers are buyers lightly, but in all seriousness, if you've connected with someone enough to where they are shedding tears, that is a good indicator that they feel comfortable with you. They will listen to you. They will take your advice. They will get a policy. They feel close enough to you to want to be able to. One of the things that we say is, I'm your agent for life, till death do us part. They'll have that with you. They'll feel that with you, and they'll be open to, again, going ahead and letting you help them put a policy in place to cover their family.
Do they cry like a lot? No, I'm really empathetic. So I don't want to start crying with them.
You might- I have.
Because they're gonna tell me some sad thing, and then I'm gonna be crying. They're gonna be crying. Like I don't know how I move
So
on from that.
You
Truly.
want to bring it back, the alpha paw patrol. So again, it's all with the purpose. If you're crying so much that you can't help them, then you're not. They're gonna be like, do you want me to help you? No, I'm helping you. Like,
No,
do you-
I got it.
So I think that, matter of fact, I might play that call for you guys, because it was one of the calls right after training. It was the end of a training. I was like, let me jump on a call and let you guys listen. And it was a good call. She cried, but I think I told her, which I usually do, we're not going to cry through this whole call. We're going to get this together. Or even with building rapport, I could talk to you all day, but I do want to give you some information about this. So you want to be able to be mindful of the fact that, oh, I do have to take the lead. Let me bring it back. And you can say that, like, oh, I told you you're stuck with me for life, so we won't do it all today. Well, and then you bring it back to the script. So you want to be able to, and that goes for if they have an objection, if they're just, you want to agree, acknowledge, agree if you need to agree, and pivot back to the script. So again, it's a dance, it's a whole roller coaster ride of emotions, but you want to make sure that you are leading. So get it together. But you want to have some snap out of it. If we see you crying, we'll come over. Not
Stop crying. Crystal,
So-
here's a Kleenex.
So
We'll
you
give it
want
air
to
break.
be able to go there with them, but then still bring it back, because it will be a lot less genuine if they're crying and you're like, no. You want to be able to have that, but it is a balance, just like with everything else. But yeah, you will have people that you will feel so connected with, and you'll hang up the phone and you'll feel it. That was one of the things that we talked about just a couple weeks ago, because we've been so in the routine of just going through it. You don't realize that you're getting all these people to bring up these emotions, and you want to, at the end of it, give them a solution to all of this. It is a lot more. It doesn't just hurt when you don't get a policy because you didn't get a policy, but yeah, you talked about this, especially if you make a connection with someone and you're not able to bring it full circle by giving them a solution and also getting a sale. So you want to make sure, whether you close the sale, write the policy or not, you want to make sure that you are taking a second to, okay, and keep it going. Like when you're in the zone, like the best time to write a policy is right after you've written one. Or sometimes it's right after somebody that didn't write one. Now you have something to prove to yourself. Like, let me get back on and get this one, because now I'm feeling good. I want to help somebody. I get to help that man. He wasn't ready for all this goodness. Let me go on and do it again. So being able to build stamina and get yourself in a groove to where you're able to go is big. But yeah, you'll make connections, genuine connections with people that you will want to send them a thank you card. You will want to do that little bit to make them feel like, oh, they did make a friend. She didn't just say that. We'll talk about in the warm down, after you've gone through underwriting, after you've written a policy, everything's good. You still spend 5 to 10 to 15 minutes just talking to them, letting them know, okay, yeah, this is good. This is something you're going to be paying on forever. And then you just have conversation with them, at least 5 minutes, about anything that's not insurance related. Because you don't want them to feel like, oh, I opened up, now I've gotten this policy. You want to get off the phone and be like that, like, oh, I feel so used. No, you want to, talk to them to solidify the fact that, oh, she did say that she's my agent for life. And we did make a bond. We do have a connection. So just talk to them a little bit. Don't not do that. Don't leave that out thinking that, oh, we've been on the phone so long. Let me get her off the phone. I'm tired. What am I going to eat? It's not going to go home. No, that's you tying down what you spent the last hour, 2 hours doing. those 5 minutes confirming that, okay, so we really did have a good conversation. Oh, she's so nice. She doesn't even care about the policy. She just likes me and she helped me help my family. That's a big deal. And that's going to be the difference between them hanging up like, what did I just do? And feeling good about the decision that they made with you. Because again, they may have come on the phone not even thinking about life insurance. Now they've made this decision and a commitment to pay something for the rest of their life. You want them to feel good about that. So,
Yeah, because they probably cancel.
Oh, yeah.
More people cancel.
oh yeah.
It stops canceling.
Yeah, and it's a
Yeah,
lot
you don't
harder.
want to cancel during your advance period.
It's
Right,
a
that's
lot
what I'm saying,
harder to call someone and cancel after, and we'll go into it because there's a couple times in the script that you're going to get them to say, yeah, I can do this. Yes, we found a price that I'm comfortable with, and you get them to confirm. You leaving that stuff out, it's a lot easier for them to call back and say, oh, I don't want it, versus when they say, no, I will pay. Oh, yes, that is affordable. They're agreeing to you, so they're going to want to back up the fact that they've already told you, not once, but several times, that they are going to do this. They love that they made this decision for their family. All of those things are part of not just getting a sale on the day, but getting it to stick. And that's what we want. We want to have these policies stick. Yeah. So what time is it? 2:15. Let's take a 10-minute break. Let you guys stretch your feet out, and we'll come back and do another short answer video and get a call in. Miss Madison, we're gonna take, what did I say, 10 minutes? 10 minutes. We're taking 10.
Accidentally just left the oh, really? Oh, I'm like, oh wait, that was meant for me. Sorry.
Oh, you were here. Oh, you done?
Yeah, I just didn't want to interrupt you while you were talking.
Thank you. Yep. Very, very welcome.
It's gonna be fun, Susan.
I know. I knew that before I got here.
I like it. I like it a lot. Ah.
Super excited. Now, I'll leave it to approval, man. We're not gonna do that, obviously. Once we get approved by the company, like first payment is made, your family's going to 100% guarantee that you're going to use that. That's like the instruction.
I wanted to show you where I actually texted that to that person. Look at this. This is where I texted him. He's a claims adjuster. We worked on probably 4 jobs together. Okay, and that's what I said. This is going to be a good job. What a surprise! I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And I also texted my sister-in-law because she has a sister-in-law who lives in Italy. Okay, she's Italian. And we were asking about what happened. Was there really a flight out over there? I mean, all the lights just went out. And then it's showing on TV all these cars just exiting Italy. Don't know. Wow.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, honey, I knew before I got here, this was my bag of tricks. So 100% on that.
Hey.
Hey, I know you. I
It's hot
love
in
you.
here.
Hey, girl. We were debating on that, so they're all good. I felt it after moving around a little bit, but they're fine. So,
Nice. Definitely smells good in here. Nice perfumey.
so that's what Andrew said too. He said, "Well, we hired no men. Smells good in here." Because I even had to. Whose class was it? One of the training classes. I came in and I was like, so after Andrew came in, I was like, someone's eating. I think. Oh no, it was Claire's class. She had some kind of.
Do you remember Anthony
Snacks.
in my class? He brought in tuna.
Yeah, Claire did that too. She had some kind of fish paste, no, shrimp paste. I don't know, but it was so loud. And then another thing in Mike and them's class, I'm like, Andrew, it's not me, it's them. But yeah, so it's a complete difference this time, which is crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff.
And what's your name?
It's Susan.
Hi, Susan. I'm Angela.
Angela, nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. I'm just like a party of one.
She's a party of one. This is Carlos and Susan.
Okay.
So she's gonna go hang out with Carlos and then after.
Well, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Nice. Good, good. We're
Yes.
happy to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
At least while we happy, we're happy. Happy.
Yes,
While
for
you're
a
here.
while.
Awesome.
Thanks for checking on me.
Yes. Welcome. Thank you. You got associates.
I
You have
drank
nothing to
one.
get.
I did. So that's why I came to get one of yours because I let mine sit here because Candy brought me a tea.
Okay.
So I'll put that
I had a
back.
cafe latte this morning. I
in
had a
the
lot of sugar today. Not good. All right.
Okay, bye. Bye. I love Miss Angela. We'll listen to a lot of her calls because she's taken what I was doing and just duplicated it to perfection. So
Awesome.
she's
Yay.
definitely a process
That's good.
ninja.
I like the rapport part.
Yeah.
I do that as much as I can. When I get the chance on the phone, I just really enjoy that. I really do. I think seniors are my market because I am a senior.
No, I'm excited to see whatever you do because that was one of the things that Carlos said. One of the first things about you, he said, was like she naturally, that's her type of sale. It's rapport. She's all
Yes, those are my sales. My calls are the people
Yeah.
that I build rapport with. So
and
yeah,
that's
so I'm happy to
big.
see that
It
part
built
of
into
it.
the
Oh, it
process,
does.
yeah.
Oh, and you're right. If you can get someone to giggle, then they're hooked.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For whatever. And I have, I haven't ever written things down. And when you said about having sticky notes and stuff, I may try to write some things down because, sometimes things come up in your head when you talk to somebody. And sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the end of the day, you can't think anymore.
Yeah. Oh, trust.
So,
I think I just told somebody that after 4:00, my brain
Oh,
it's
it's
it's a lot all day.
Right, there's
so,
a lot, there's not much of it left.
Yes. Brain's
So,
usually
but yeah, I really, really like the rapport building parts.
Sure.
It is, and I feel relatable to people, seniors that are looking. I have a final expense policy. So, of course, when you have your own policy,
And even telling them the why. We'll get into stories because stories are so fun, but you can share. That's one of the things you want to do is share. So yeah,
Sure.
your reasoning
Sure.
behind why and get them to realize
Oh.
why. And,
Exactly.
oh yes.
I think we've all got those stories in there somewhere.
Yeah, so we'll write them down. That'll probably be Wednesday-ish once we hit on the stories, but writing them down, practicing them, and not trying to wing it. Because sometimes you think, oh yeah, but having them down is big.
Oh, it
and then
is.
they evolve.
They
get
do,
bigger.
yes, then they do. Way back in the day when I was licensed for the first time, I worked for an independent agent. And he was a very insightful guy. He had us, as a new agent, we had to memorize this 3-page thing and stand in front of him and recite it. And I thought, and we all agreed, no, you're never going to stand in front of somebody and read that 3-page thing. But when you're thinking what I want to say, you will remember parts of that spiel, and they do, and those parts are what come to you. Not the entire
Yep.
3-page document.
And not that anyone would
Parts
wanna
and
sit and
pieces.
listen to a 3-page, but yeah, the
Exactly,
little
but
key
the little
things.
things, they'll come to you at an appropriate time.
And making them colorful, like what? The story section is fun. We'll have a good time with that and sharing them also. And what I like with this training class size is that when we get into the role playing, you guys will be able to kind of rotate, so you'll kind of get bits and pieces of everybody's stuff, and it just
I'm sure it'll all come together. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Oh, yeah, I'm super excited. Super happy to be here.
Acknowledge and pivot to other products or pivot to,
Back to the script.
oh, back to script, okay.
He said we all want that brand new car, fancy car, but we settle for a Honda because it's good for her family.
I'm married, but I just have cats.
I'm not gonna do little. I've got 3 dogs and 4 cats, and I used to have a bird, and I used to have 4. I don't know how long.
I live next door to my husband. He has his own house and his own sign set up the way he wants, and I have mine set my way.
It's funny that you say that because I was like, first of all, I know I'm difficult to deal with. Second of all, I like want my own space. I always said, like, if I ever get married, you gotta have your own bedroom, and I gotta have my own bedroom.
That's exactly right.
Because I think you need the space sometimes. Like, my grandpa had their own bedroom.
Well, he's ill. He's very ill. He's had many surgeries, and so he lives there, and I have to have someone live with him in order to, be with him. And so I can't work if I can't sleep. You know what I mean? So I have to sleep. And then he takes a lot of meds, you know what I mean? So if he can get into my door, he'll forget and leave it open. My cats are outside. It's not that they're more important than he is, but it's just I have them since they're babies. They're not outside cats.
You get children, don't I understand.
Mm-hmm. So that's how we solved it, so that he could come and go if he wanted to 3 o'clock.
You said he's on a lot of meds. I just found this thing because my mom is as well. And
Well,
it's really cool. It's called Hero, and it's like $30 a month. But you put your pills in there, like your whole month's worth, and it holds up to 10 different medications. And you put the whole month's worth in there, and then it'll actually give you an alert on your phone, and it'll start ringing, and it'll put your dose out. And then you're like, oh,
That's
afternoon, I need my medicine. It told me that I need my medicine because you might, because if you're on medications at different times of day, crap like that. And you don't have to just dispense it all out because you don't have to fiddle with a bunch of bottles.
that's cool. That's
And it's
great.
Tibet.
I'll look at it. He has one of those little tray
You
lights.
wanna be that.
My mom does too, but she messes it up.
You wanna be that one.
Sometimes. She messes up the day-to-day
I
trip.
said that part, but yeah.
She messes up putting it in sometimes. So I was gonna buy her this.
Overzealous, and I
Because
take it home, and
it's
it's
only
still
$30
there,
a
waiting
month.
for
and
me to
it's
get
helpful
back.
for her. That's what I said.
But yes,
I
you
saw it
are
on
more than
Facebook,
welcome
and I'm
to.
like, oh.
It's bright enough to where you
Mom,
shouldn't forget it ever.
Well, he's had, let's see,
If it ain't
30
in front of my
students.
face,
The triple
it's gonna be a
triple
problem.
amputations.
But I have the best to have
Yeah.
one by
Oh, I know you're on.
All
Yes,
my stuff.
yours is very loud, so.
Bernie's in the military too.
Right.
Welcome back, wonderful people. No.
Oh my God, my nose has a lot of.
Yeah, I'm covered. Okay, well,
She drew hers though.
I am not a good artist, but I know some that are. These are all old, I mean, these are literally 12 years old. No, some of them I need to get touched up, but.
I'm your agent for life. You're truly a special person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's 2:30 PM.
No.
Did you know it
I
was
can't. I don't even know why I would have had a 2:30 alarm.
Like I said.
Check
How
your
come
calendar.
it's always like when you get a job or that everybody wants to be part-time for you. I can't work 7 days, like, in 5 days. I feel like it's always like that where when I'm looking at one bar for gold, and everybody else seems to want me the rest of the nights.
Why?
When I only had 2 nights, you know, set in stone. Nobody wa- I'm fighting for other
Every
people.
time I hear that bell, I had like a Waffle House. Okay, I'm like,
Order ready.
That is very, very common when you're in a call center with,
you need like help.
no,
No.
commission, when you, for commission based, so every time you get a policy, it's very common that the call center has a bell for you to ring and to celebrate yourself and so that others can celebrate with you that you just got a policy. So the bell is like a magic thing. Like, it's like,
Oh.
oh, somebody just wrote, oh, I just got to.
Okay.
Yes,
I have
it's-
worked in a place
it's
that
hard.
long.
I like that. I like that.
All right, let's reel
They'll have
it in,
different kinds of
ladies.
bells,
Let's
bombs,
reel
whatever.
it in.
It's hard.
So we're going to,
My last job, not my
Yeah,
last job, one of my
back.
jobs earlier this year.
Yes.
all right. So we're going to do a quick speaking authority video. We'll see what
It's
Mr.
one that you really
Maggio.
gotta pay close attention to, because how quickly you get it will determine how quickly you start to make money. And it seems easy, but unless you have conviction, unless you implement the knowledge that we learn, it's difficult to come across, and that is the topic of authority. You are the authority on final expense. As far as anybody that you know, anybody you speak to on the phone, you invented final expense. You are the authority. Now, in order to establish that with your client, you've got to speak with it. You've got to be confident. And that comes with you learning all this information, all this wonderful stuff that's spread all over that we're learning right now. But even if you don't have it, even if you're just getting started and you're not really sure of yourself, nobody knows that except for you. So speaking with authority is like having a mind control device. When you speak with authority, people take action. And if you're speaking from a good place of integrity, people take more action. It's, for example, you go to the doctor, you sit in the doctor's office and the doctor says, take off your shirt. What do?
Are you?
No, I'm
Take
not
your shirt.
good.
Yes, sir.
He's
Why?
at the CQ.
Because we know that he is or she is an authority in that situation. So we listen, right? The mindset is easy when you're prepared to know everything. But being prepared and knowing everything can take away from the process. So it's a dance. You gotta have authority, you gotta have knowledge, but you gotta keep it simple, guys. Gotta keep it simple. Authority leads to trust. Trust leads to somebody taking action based on what you say. So if you're authoritative and you build trust, then you will be somebody who gets others to take action. They don't have to believe what you say. They have to believe that you believe what you say. And that's a powerful, powerful sales tool. Now, most people don't have authority in things, like I said, because they overcomplicate things, right? It's the curse of knowledge. When you know a lot and you think you know a lot, you want to tell everybody how much you know to show them that you're an authority. People don't care what you know. They care that you know what you know. So keeping it simple is very, very important. You're going to hear throughout the process and throughout your training that as you accumulate knowledge, it becomes kind of like a trick. It's a trap because you want to give that knowledge to people. There's a cliche, it's called beginner's luck. Beginner's luck is not some lucky thing that people start something off, and no, when people first start something, they're excited. They have excitement in their voice. They don't know what they don't know, and they're just giving it their best effort, and they have success. But over time, you start to know things. Then you start to think about those things, and you want to tell other people what you know. And in a process like ours that relies on emotion to make decisions and take action, too much knowledge is not a good thing. All of the final expense in insurance knowledge and lingo and jargon that you're going to pick up over time, we put that in our back pocket. Because after we've executed the process, and we're in mod 5, we're in mod 6, we're in mod 7, that customer may want to know some things that before they may have wanted to know, but they wouldn't have listened to you if you started talking about it. But now they're going to start asking questions. Ooh, I have that knowledge. I know the difference between term and whole life insurance and how it applies here. I know what cash value is and how it applies here. Up until that point, read the script, because the script has everything that you need and nothing more. Speaking with authority. Now, some key terms that are used when one is overcomplicating is when they start talking about face value, premiums, whole life. We're saying these things in the script, but we're not explaining them. People want to know what things do. They don't want to know how things work. How things work is good. What they do, simple, get to the point, let's move on. I like it, tell me what it does, I believe you. Oh, great. You start getting into how things work. And it gets, I'll give you an example. 5-year-old says, how does a car move? Now, are you going to say back to the 5-year-old, well, let me explain how this works. There's an engine, and there's pistons, and there's an ignition, and there's gasoline, and when you turn the key, it fires, and the gas feeds to and then you press the pedal. He wants to hear, well, you turn the key and press the pedal, and it goes. Because that's what it does. We're not interested in how it works. Knowing how it works for your own sake to be a better agent is one thing. Knowing when to get into that information is even more important. Like I said, that's at the end, not the beginning. You start talking about these things in the beginning and how things work instead of what they do. And you will confuse people, they'll shut down, and you'll lose them. It'll be over. And the worst part about that situation, so heed my words here, is because in that situation, they're likely to just be quiet and listen to what you have to say. I don't know, I couldn't build rapport, I kept asking questions, they just listened, so I kept going. And you get 45 minutes in, an hour in, and they're led with, I need to think about it. I need to talk to my husband or wife. Is there a time I can call you back? Because they have no emotion invested. We haven't connected. We've overcomplicated it, and they just shut off. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's not what we want. We want interaction. We want emotion, authority, simple spoken authority. We'll get you there. Let me check my notes real quick, make sure I'm not forgetting anything on you guys. Another example.
I really thought he
The other
said
day, I'm
check his
having a
nose.
spring,
I was gonna say,
Florida,
wait.
swimming. There's manatees always in there, but this time of year, there's really not a lot of them. Now, there's a lot of people there that look out for the manatees and want to keep them safe. So we're swimming and playing with my kids, and I hear a guy whistle real loud like they do. And everybody looks, the manatee! And everybody, hundreds of people stopped, backed off of what they were doing, looked around. Now, for whatever reason, there was no manatee. But every single person that heard that man whistle and yell manatee believed him and backed off. The power of authority. There was just authority in his voice. Now, don't go around, yelling manatee at people. This is just an example.
Snooty.
Speak with authority. You are the authority in final expense. The quicker you believe that without overcomplicating things, the faster you'll be making money.
True. Very, very true. So, don't yell manatee at people. But also keeping it simple is key. You don't want to, and that goes for when you are providing them information, but even when you get into the application, you're asking them questions and the beneficiary and don't overcomplicate it. You don't, I have to think about it and call you back. I need to check with no, we'll just do this now and then you can call me back later and change it if you need to, or just by that point, once you get to the application and the whole process, but you are more confirming information and making it as seamless as possible because they, again, probably were not prepared for any of this. So if you give them reasons to think too much and, I gotta go, or it's overwhelming, period. So even when you do start learning all this different jargon and all this stuff and you just wanna share, even if you get to mod 6 and you are giving them information, you still want to make it as minimal as possible and speak very confidently, and they'll trust what you say and keep it moving versus you sounding nervous, you sounding unsure. Now they smell blood, so they're gonna keep going and ask more questions, and it may not even be intentional, but they may hear that you sound unsure. Now they're like unsure as well, so they want to keep asking questions. So they feel clear and you are clear, or they trust you. So you want to maintain that trust that they have built in you. So you want to sound confident. You want to speak with authority, even if you're confidently saying, let me look into that. I want to be sure that I'm giving you the right information. Be confident. Regardless of how much you do or don't know about final expense, you know more than they do. So keep that in mind whether it's your first call or 81st call. Keep that in mind because that's all that they know is what you give them. So if you say it strongly, I don't want to say be wrong and strong, but if you're going to be anything, be strong about it. So, and if you don't know, don't make it up. Even with rapport building and your stories, you don't want to be lying. You're making a connection with these people. If you say something that contradicts something else that you said, your credibility is out the window, and who cares about anything else because they don't trust you. They already don't know you. So you want to make sure that you are being mindful of what you're saying. So yes, the curse of knowledge, do not fall into that. We'll go into what he says, stick to the script. Just knowing the script, most people will come out. Your first couple calls, you're doing good. You get lucky. The beginner's luck theory is not luck. It's because all you know is what you've been taught, and you just go on with what you've been taught. Now, then you start learning stuff, and you're shifting, and now you're doing other stuff, and then you're like, what happened? I knew what I was doing at the beginning. What did I lose? You didn't lose anything. You gained too much, and now you're doing too much. Just bring it back to the center. Bring it back to the center. Go back to the script. If all else to fail, bring it back to the script. Just don't sound like you're reading the script. Get comfortable with your script. Take it home, read it over again. Once you get it, because you don't have it yet. But tomorrow you guys will have access to your script. But get comfortable with them. Make them yours.
I'm gonna force my friends to go through it with me.
Because there's a guy out there, Ansel. He actually led the floor last week, but day 2 of training, we're just reading through the scripts, and he read it like he had read it 17 times.
Why would you do
Hi,
that?
Jason.
The
Thank
level
you.
of disrespect.
I think that was
So,
respect.
so I was actually begging for brownies last week, and he brought some that were so whack. So, I said we just got some brownies delivered, so you're not missing anything except a bunch of calories. So yeah, give me a second. We'll get through this, and then if you guys want brownies, you're more than welcome. Goodness, you bring brownies, and I don't know what I'm talking about anymore.
Trusting the process
Yeah.
because Ansel on day 2, he
Thank you,
read the
Ansel.
script and
Thank
he
you.
read it like he
Get
did
that active
things.
listening, girl. Get that active listening, girl.
Get me together. Yeah.
Tell us how they did last week. That's what you
Yes,
finished with.
Ansel. So Ansel is week 3 on the floor. He might be in week 4 by now. I don't know. 2, 3, 4 weeks at the most. I don't know. But Ansel did, I think AEP overall. Don't make me make that up. He led the floor. I think he was at 11,000, I believe, but I'll
What do you
know
mean
for
left the
sure.
floor?
He
Highest.
had the most AEP
Oh,
in the office. But he came out of training. He took his script home. It was day 2 of us just being in the class, but we had started going through the script. I called on him to read it, and he read it like he had been doing. So I know he went home and he invested time. And you can do what you want to do. I can't tell you to do this when you leave here, but if you don't, it's a direct reflection of how you're probably going to either do well or not so well, because your level of success will be determined on the amount of effort you put into doing more than what is expected. Anything past what you're expected to do is probably the return on investment. So, but yeah, he took it. He was reading it like a champ, and it was very, very impressive. So we'll get the marbles out, and they'll feel like, oh, that's a lot of pressure. We'll get the marbles out. If they're taking it home,
Let me see that
even
thing.
taking it home, the first time you read through it, it's going to be different. Reading it in your head versus reading it aloud. So you'll get used to it, but be willing to do that because it does show up and it will pay off. Let me tell you exactly how much I got so many last week.
So we do the script verbatim, is that correct?
Yes and no. Yes, there are things in there you'll want to hit on verbatim. You'll make it your own, but you don't want to leave any the cheese, leave it in there. The key elements, you'll want to leave it in there. But you do want to make it your own, but don't veer off too far from the process. I don't care. I've memorized the script 17 times, but when I'm on a call, you want to be focused. You want to be locked in. You want to be engaged in the call. You swear that I've never seen the script before because I'm in and I'm scrolling and I'm locked into they can hear that. It'll be a call that I'll have you guys listen to, which anyone else, they're like, oh, you did really good. But I know that, again, this is a call I took at the end of a training and they were listening and they're asking questions. So I'm talking to my client, but I'm also helping and doing stuff. So I know that I can tell where I wasn't on. But when you're on, if you really want to lock in, be engaged. The clients can hear, the clients can tell. So you want to make sure that you're on top of it. I lied. Answer was 9,678. So,
that's good.
Wow.
yeah.
Nice.
He did really good. And this is that you want to go, ideally, you want to try to get 2 to 3 sales a day, 2 or 3 policies a day. You'll have days where you might get 4, you might get 3, you might have a day where you get 1 or don't get any, but on average, you want to try to get 2 to 3 sales a day. If you're working, you're investing the time, you're doing your 6 hours, then Andrew always says there are 2 policies in a day's work. You just have to be willing to get them. That also goes hand in hand with doing follow-ups. You may have one from the day before that takes a 2-day to a 3-day because they called back and you were halfway through the script, you finished up, and there it goes. So being mindful of all those things.
Is there like a voicemail if they call back when you're out of office?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm a movie.
Miss Andrea, you good?
I'm good.
You have a question?
I was just looking at Crystal when she was talking. Show respect because she was talking.
No.
Thanks, girl.
All of the respect. I love it. Okay, does someone want brownies? Anyone? Brownies?
Normally I would say no, but I'm not gonna count.
I need the sugar, the
coffee, the something,
please.
I'm with this Crystal too.
I don't even keep that stuff in my house. I'll get a sweet tooth. I'm like, oh,
Well, like
why
that's,
me?
this is the exception then.
Okay, there we go.
Exactly. That's the only
You're not
time
my
I don't buy bread. I don't buy pasta.
Are you on the
Like a low
the
carb diet.
keto diet?
No on the keto because it's no carb and that's not good for you.
Yeah.
You need carbs to fuel your system.
Just a low.
No, not intentionally a low carb. I have endometriosis, and so
It messes.
gluten and dairy will cause flare-ups. So I don't buy real milk. I buy lactose-free milk. Well, I guess it's real milk, but they take the lactose out of it.
You know what's good? I'm sorry I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off,
you're
but you should try it. If you go to Aldi, they sell oat milk. They have a almond oat milk
I've
blend,
tried all of
and
it.
they even have a coconut oat
Almond,
milk blend.
coconut.
Okay, so I apologize that I took us off.
I love
okay.
I love almond milk and
Because I
coconut
want us
milk,
to
but
get
I
a couple
could not buy with goat milk or pea milk or I've tried. a
Yeah, the
couple of them.
Ripple milk is kind of thick.
So-
It's
Chalky.
yeah.
It's very
One
chalky.
second, we're gonna bring it back real quick.
Okay.
We'll do the brownies when I play a call, but I want us to read through this trust the process document, page 4. If you guys can, we'll go around the room and we'll just go pick a color and we'll keep it moving. But we'll start with Miss Susan, if you could. Trust the process. So mod 2 and mod 4, and then it touches on mod 5. But we're going to touch on mod 2 and mod 4 because mod 2 and mod 4 are the most important mods. You will hear that about every mod because if you do not, page 4.
Oh no, I'm on the right page. I'm just a little confused why it jumps from mod 2 to mod 4. Where's mod 3 in this and mod 4?
Mod 2 and mod 4 are the most important.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. I'm like, wait a minute. It goes one. I could tell it was
so-
1, 2, 3, 4.
Mod 2 is where you're going to build rapport, hence why it is the most important mod. But every mod is the most important mod when you're on that mod because if you don't execute that mod correctly, then there is no moving forward. So mod 1 is the most important while you're there, and then once you get to mod 2, that's really the most important. 'Cause
No,
again-
but I have to tell you, I love your observation. You didn't know what I was doing, but you wanted to make sure I was there.
Yes. So mod 2 is the rapport build and is huge. Again, it opens the door for you to be able to do everything else. If you don't get through that, then you won't get to mod 4, which is really the most important mod because that's where they decide why they need to get final expense coverage. That's literally where they decide. You have them thinking about the people that they love and what would happen if I died. And so you'll see why these mods are the most important, but one of them is allowing you to get in, and then mod 4 is you having them peel back all the layers and you're bringing them on a cliff of emotion. That's where the crying usually happens.
Just don't push them out.
Don't push them out. We bring them to the
Reel
top
them back
and then we
in.
bring them back in. Because, okay, I know
I
we're
got
talking
you
about all
right
this.
now.
But, so we get them to feel, but then we say, okay, well, now that you feel this, I have a solution for you. So I'm going to help you so that this doesn't happen. So those 2 mods, go ahead, Miss Susan, if you want to do, you can do 1 or 1 and 2, whatever you're feeling.
I'll do the one. To make friends with the customer, build rapport. If this is not done for 10 to 15 minutes, we're going to hear, I think I need to think about it. Can you send me something in the mail later in the call?
Yes, very true. Again, they'll listen to you, but if you haven't made that connection, then they're just gonna listen to you. They're not gonna make a decision with you. And who wants to do that? Go 2. We're gonna go around this way. So Crystal with the C.
We ask them if they are employed or retired because we want to know about them and build rapport organically. We're listening to gather information for later, like where the money is coming from. But at this point in the pitch, we are making friends.
Very true. You're asking them questions. So in mod 2, the goal of mod 2 is to make a friend. But while you're making a friend, you want to get an idea of where their money's coming from. Are they working still? No, they retired. They using Social Security, disability. You want to get a feel for that organically from the conversation. So you're not asking them that just for fun. You're asking them that so that you'll understand and know moving forward where they are. About the family stuff, you want to get a gauge for that because you want to have an idea of who their beneficiary is going to be. Who are they loving on to make them want to move forward with getting this policy? Ms. Hannah?
Number 3, are they married, have kids, grandkids. We want to know about this person's loved ones because we care, while still building rapport and collecting information for later. You know, for example, potential beneficiaries. We're not talking about beneficiaries now. In this moment, we want them thinking and talking about those they love the most. As we're building rapport and making friends, we're collecting information, ammunition for later.
So yes, we are not going to say the word beneficiaries. I listened to a call and I was cringing because
Wow.
in Montu, he's building rapport, but he's like, so who you want your beneficiaries? He literally was like, so you don't want them, even though we are final expense and we're talking about final expense, we don't want them thinking about final expense in Montu. We just want them to be making friends with us. So you're talking to them, you're organically getting them to give you this information without throwing that in their face. Next. Who's next? Miss Crystal with a K.
From 3.
No,
Mod 4.
number 4.
Mod 4, number 1.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a couple because I feel it's short.
Okay. Knock yourself out.
Bye. Have you ever had to pay
Rewind 1 second. Sorry. So mod 2, and we'll talk about this more and more and again. So don't get annoyed. Just understand that you're hearing this stuff repeatedly so that it sinks in, because you're gonna hear it all now. It won't all make sense now. It'll sound like a lot of stuff, but once you start actively taking calls, you're on the calls, you're gonna want to remember this stuff. So I'm gonna beat it into your brain a little bit because it is very important. Mod 2, you want to spend at least 10 to 15 minutes in mod 2, which is a good, you want to, and when you get the script, you'll see a little time point. I think 25 minutes is ideally the amount of time that you're going to want to spend prior to getting into mod 3. So to have a little sticker on the script that says you should be about 25 minutes here, because to even get to mod 2, it takes roughly 6 to 8 minutes if you're not flying through the questions, because there are some knockout questions that we'll ask first, and then we'll explain to them why they're even talking to us, who we are, so on and so forth. About 6 to 8 minutes in, you'll get into mod 2. So you spend a good 10, 15 minutes there, which means getting into mod 3, where we ask health questions to really determine the level of coverage they qualify for. About 25 minutes in is where you're gonna wanna be with that. So if you're out of mod 2 in 5 minutes, hang up the phone. Hang up if you're not going to, you haven't done enough. If they aren't giving you anything and you feel like you need to rush through it because, oh, they're not, that just means that you need to dig more. If you just move past because they're uncomfortable and they're making you uncomfortable because you don't know what other questions to ask and they've given you all short answers, so you just move forward just because, they may let you move forward, but you're not going to. I'd rather them get uncomfortable and hang up the phone in mod 2 than you moving forward just because, and then 40 minutes in, they don't want to, no, that's nice, thank you for that information, and then they're gone. Oh, I gotta go, or I don't know, I was being nice because you're nice, but I don't trust you enough to give you any more information, bye-bye. I'd rather in mod 2, stay in mod 2, build the rapport, get the voice inflection change, get their hot spot. If you get them talking or they get to talking, don't cut them off, even though it may not be on a subject that you were hoping. If you cut them off because you're not actively listening or you're ready to jump in with your next question and then they stop, there might not be another opportunity for you to let them open up. So you might have bypassed or made them shut down, and now you're really going to be trying to figure out where, why, how, because your little input, the little door was opening, and then you made them close it back because you weren't engaged.
I didn't think of that too, like extra interest in us, because then we're gonna have to collect their banking and their social, and they don't trust you, and you're on the phone, they don't even know who it is that they're really speaking with. I just like randomly thought about
Well, you connected one dot, and that's so there will be a lot. Everything is intentionally done. Nothing in the script is by accident. Nothing about the process is just happenstance. Like it's all in there for a reason. And even with doing this elsewhere, doing it with other companies, or doing it with other type of insurance, this is a different animal because again, the demographic we're dealing with, the clientele that we have, the type of policy it is, so all of those things play key parts in why it's set up the way that it's set up. And also why mod 2 and mod 4. We'll touch on mod 4, and this is the big one because again, you want them. Mod 4 was honestly the mod that I was the most uncomfortable with when I first started because I'm like, I don't want to make them feel and ask them these questions, and do I want to think about this stuff? So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. They'll feel it, and it'll be more genuine when you do. And once you've made the connection in mod 2, it should make the questions that you ask in mod 4 a lot easier to ask because you're asking them, have you paid for a funeral? Oh, what was that like? Tell me more. Oh, and you don't want to, oh, tell me more. Stop it right now. Oh, goodness, tell me more. So put your hats on, like you're going to wear different hats throughout this process. You're going to have an authoritative hat on. You're going to have a friendship hat on. You're going to have a medical hat on. So you have to be willing to do all that stuff through it. Again, it is a dance. It is a performance. Have a mirror in front of your desk if you want to, and do the faces. Like you want them to feel your energy through the phone. You want them to make that connection. So it's fun. It's work. It's exhausting, but it's a good feeling afterwards. But yeah, be willing to dance. Go ahead, mod 4.
Before I jump back into mod 4,
Yes.
because I like all of this is very familiar. Every company, whether it's customer service or sales, they teach a lot of this rapport, active listening, but you always learn something new. And with that, it says this section should always end with a cool down statement. What is a cool down statement after rapport?
I'm so happy you asked that.
I'm glad we got that taken
And that's a nice. So
That
there's
is a
one
nice
built
transition
into
statement.
the script itself that says, I can see why, I can certainly tell that your family is important to you and why the decision to get them covered is an important decision to you. I love my family, and it just wraps it up.
So
Or
it
some-
transitions.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, that's
And
what you
just-
did. I certainly love my family.
And I know
Yeah,
the decision to protect, yes. Or even one that might even get you to that is, oh, I could talk to you all day, but I do want to give you some information about this policy or this coverage, and then you go into the rest of it.
That's
So
what
it's just-
every day.
Everybody calls everything different, some, I've been in companies where they didn't call it active listening, so,
Yeah.
and so I was like, what is a cool down
No,
statement for
good
him?
call out. I like it. You're paying attention.
I try.
Yeah, I didn't know
Alright,
that.
so-
My core emotional fact find. Have you ever had to pay for a funeral before? If they say yes, tell me more. How did it feel? How much did it cost? If they say no, ask an accountability question to get them thinking, feeling, and talking. For example, I'm so glad you've never been in that tough spot. Let me ask you, whose responsibility do you believe it is to cover your final expenses? Why? Phrase their answer and tell your story. Make them feel.
All right, so big stuff right here. This is going to lead into, we're going to talk about stories. We're going to spend some time on making stories, creating stories, writing them out, not just thinking about them, but putting them down. And we'll talk about the importance of that. But you want to make them feel, you want them to think about these things. If they have not had to experience paying for final expenses, you want to paint a picture for them to envision what it would be like if they had to, or if they passed, and their family had to come up with this money. Do you know, like there are so many different ways that could go, but you want them to put themselves in that position of thinking about their family being in that situation and, oh, I would not want to do that to my family. I do need to get something in place. I can't imagine. Your stories, you want them to be colorful so that they can really visualize what that would be like and make sure that they're doing something today to stop that from happening. So that is why mod 4 is so important, because you're getting them to really think about that, and that's going to be the key for them deciding to do something. So definitely make sure that in, again, both mod 2 and mod 4, but mod 4, you want to stay there to make sure that they feel. We had a storytelling contest, and we're gonna do it again because I really liked it, and Kenny brought it up the other week, where we all brought in stories and we pitched each other. We just try to see who could do it with the most. Just adjectives, all of it, make us feel and So you want to do that, you want to paint a picture, but we will do that again now that it's more of us. We'll do another storytelling competition because stories sell. Stories are what are going to make the difference between just having a conversation and really getting them to put the pieces together and connect the dots.
How long is this mod usually then?
Maybe another 10-15 minutes, if that, give or take. You just want them to, if they cry, don't make them cry too long. You want them to, it'll be questions that you'll have them ask, or that you'll ask them and have them answer. So you want to make sure that you're asking the questions and making them feel. And depending on how many stories they give you, or if you're just giving stories, give or take, you just want to make sure, not even time-wise, because by that time, you already have a feel for your client. You built the rapport, you've made that connection. You just want to make sure you don't leave mod 4 without getting them to feel.
You can judge it by the conversation.
If they're laughing and you're in mod 4, something's not going right. Even because some people, as a defense mechanism, they will laugh. They'll make light of it. So you can go with them, and you want to bring it back though. But seriously, like how? Because they can just throw me in a box. I don't care. They can bury me out back, and they'll laugh it off. But seriously, they can't do that. So what do you think they would have to do if you were to pass? So reel them in. You don't want to be laughing and making jokes in mod 4 because that's not the tone for that mod. You want to bring it down. Again, emotion, tonality, that's our tool. So you want to make sure when it's time to be up, you're up. When it's time to bring it down, you're down because they're following you in this performance. Cremation or burial. Why? Make them think and explain their answer. That way you can agree with them and then go into what the costs are. Bring up information you have learned about their family here. Praise everything they've told you. Cool down statements. Listen. Doubt build. Then move into mod 5. So you'll have a sheet. I think you guys may have a sheet in the backs of your binder. It's green and striped. And sorry, Ms. Madison, this is coming in your kit when I send it over to you. Striped
The
green.
prosperity sheet, fact sheet.
No. Oh, look at me.
Not response codes.
Okay, no. Is that what
This one?
No. This is, okay, so I
Oh,
Cost of breakdown of funeral services.
This
Yeah.
one.
yeah,
it's
green
in the-
stripes. Okay, look at me doing
What
stuff.
is response there too? It's in the,
Technically, yes.
Sorry. Toy, that's a black one. Yours may not have it.
yeah.
No.
It's upside down.
Oh,
Okay.
it's right here to the
I
back
think
of it,
yours
if you
is
see
right
something
here.
like that. It's on the back, it's laminated back.
Yeah.
Mine is like this.
No, toy doesn't.
It could be upside down.
Okay, so that's sorry. It's the black one.
She's
that's got a
low.
little
No, I'm
bit
kidding.
And I think you and Miss Susan have the folders I intended for the other, but either way, so that is a cost breakdown. Miss Madison, it is a cost breakdown sheet, again, you will get it, but it gives general cost of funeral expenses. So you don't want to start shooting off numbers to them, you don't want to go into the whole spiel, but you want to get an idea of what they want, and maybe vaguely sprinkle some stuff in. On average, right now, it could take up to on the low end, it's about $5,000 for cremation, or it could go, depending on if you want bells and whistles. So you don't want to get them locked into, I need this amount, need this amount, because if they can't afford that much coverage, you don't want them to throw their hands up at the whole process.
Yeah.
So this is useful because some people will say, well, I don't know, you tell me. You want to, again, don't overcomplicate it. Don't make them think too much, but again, these are tools for your belt.
Don't read them this list.
Right, don't read them the list. But you can you make it conversational, without breaking it down, but it'll be a spot in the script where I'll say, you know, traveling and taking time off of work, and just getting them to understand the fact that expenses come up. So even if you can't cover everything, and I'll say that, even if you can't cover everything, at least a little something so that it can go towards whatever the case may be. So we'll spend a lot of time talking about response block selling, but part of the whole process is response blocking, which is basically addressing objections before they're verbalized. Once an objection is verbalized, once someone says some things, they're going to want to back that up at all costs. So if from listening, you have been able to recognize things that they've mentioned having problems with, money's tight, they said that in mod 2, 3, or 4 times, and I know this is expensive. Hopefully we can even get you approved, and if we can, even if you can't cover everything, my goal is to at least get something for you to be able to leave the kids. That way they know mom tried, and even $1,000. Starting at $1,000 is a lot better than 0 when you're grieving and mourning and dealing with the fact that your mom's not here. You're gonna say it a little more empathetically, obviously, but even dropping those little pieces are definitely big when it comes to being able to jump ahead of them saying, well, I can't afford it. Well, just a little something just to hopefully get them started if you can't cover everything. If they have other policies, just a little something to add to whatever you already have, because the cost of living is going up and not going down, whatever the case may be. But having a little bit of awareness of cost of funerals and final expenses, that is definitely helpful.
But what's the minimum policy amount?
$1,500 for prosperity. Yep.
Oh, so when you said even if it's just 1,000, that would be the other 2 carriers?
That was me just giving a number.
Oh.
But even if it's 1,500, but yeah, you want to just give them something to, you know, hopefully we can get you a little something. But yeah, you don't want 1,000. They need up to 1,500. My 5, Miss Toy.
All right, mod 5, the product. First, if we are not executing mods number 2 and number 4, we may as well stop here. This mod is designed to condition the customer to give us affirmative responses. Remember, we are hoping they get approved for these benefits we're listing. Your voice should reflect this. Get affirmatives after each benefit, then be excited about the approval. Be ready to list 3 coverage options: a high, a middle, and a low dollar amount. Mods 2, 4, and 5 are the keys. Use them or the door will be locked.
All right. So, very true. Mod 5 is where you're going to introduce the product for the first time. So all this time we are talking to these people, we're getting them to feel, we're getting them to love us and be our friend and take our advice and all of that. Mod 5 is the first time that you even present the product to them, the first time they're hearing the name. We'll talk about it more as we go through everything, but doubt build is going to be huge. You don't want them to feel like when we ask the health questions, you don't want to praise health. You never want to praise health because you don't want them to feel like they are so healthy. Number one, they don't need coverage today because they're going to live till they're 952. Or you don't want them to feel like, oh, I'm so healthy, I can get coverage with anybody. Why would I want to get coverage with you? You want to create a sense of urgency. You want to, you want them to think about this stuff and, oh, let me do this now. Even if they are healthy, you don't want to praise their health. And sometimes we might feel like, oh, it says praise everything but their health. So, and again, that is intentional because you want them to, even if they are healthy and they're answering no to all the health questions and they only have a prescription for blood pressure, that doesn't stop anything. Everybody has a blood pressure prescription, but you still want to say, oh, well, now you got that blood pressure medicine, but I'm going to see what I can do. It's building doubt and anticipation for them to get approved so that when we do say, oh, I found something for you, they're excited about it, not like, oh, well, I've been waiting for you to give me this quote for 45 minutes. No, you want them to say, oh, I did give, like sometimes I've built enough doubt to where the clients are like, well, I hope, pray with me. I hope I can get it for, like, they really are eager and scared and nervous. So yeah, it kind of built too much doubt. And I'm like, well, I trust my skills. I work for you, and that's built into the script. I work for you. I don't work for the insurance company. So my job is to find something that we can get you approved for. So the script is a beautiful thing. It's definitely going to help you do everything that you need to do. So understand all this stuff, yes, but all this stuff is being told to you so that when you do see the script, you're not just reading words, or you understand the purpose of the words that are there. Because you want to deliver it. You want to deliver it. You want to put it out there so that they feel all of it. So we will we'll listen to a little bit of a call, just so you guys can kind of get a little insight on what the process is. Yeah, so it's 3:15, so we'll get into a chunk of this call, and then you guys can hang it up for the day. Hopefully you feel like you had learned something.
I'm excited. I love all these keywords.
I like these funny state-specific slang at the back. That is too funny.
What page?
Yes. Start on page 14. It is too funny, girl. Some of the stuff is too funny.
I work for you, and my job is to find something to meet your needs.
Y'all ever had some Milo sweet tea?
Okay. And what's funny though,
Sweet
now,
tea.
Milo sweet tea is actually sold in the Family Dollar.
Is it really?
Yes, it's those little bottles of tea they have in the little dollar section, and then they'll have like the apple drink and the orange drink and the grape drink, but they have like teas and lemonades, and it's actually Milo's brand.
At the family?
Family
Dollar?
Family Dollar, yeah, not the Dollar General, the actual Family Dollar, the red and white.
That's
Yeah.
where I go Family Dollar, so now I'm gonna be curious to like.
Yeah,
Oh,
so that's why I was looking at this, because this is kind of like really cute, like.
Dollar General for certain.
Florida, they love Publix. You should know Florida.
Right, like that's what's.
They love Publix. You should know Florida.
Well, actually, they love Trader Joe's and Aldi's now.
Nah, I'm still. No, really, I've been ordering. I'm so lazy. I still order my groceries delivery through Amazon.
Oh, really?
I do mine through Aldi.
You're gonna drop it at my door for me?
Yeah.
I'm not lazy. Full-time work, full-time school, so I guess like.
No. I want a
relax
2-year-old.
in between the time, not grocery shop.
Right.
I wait until.
I have a 2-year-old, so no man.
Oh,
It's
I know
not
my-
lazy, it's just,
my
I'm
average
too
reaper in the
right now.
Well,
I'm
nobody's
trying
gonna
to
be
deal with
taking
taking you to the
2-year-old
store.
to-
Yeah. Like, I don't wanna go shopping with you.
I've been to the area before. It's beautiful. Oh, Ada, this is our agent here. Yes, hi, Maureen. Good afternoon. And Miss Ada, I'll introduce you real quick. So Maureen, this is Kelly. I have Miss Ada Mendez on the line with us from Florida. So I know you can help her from here. Yes, ma'am. And Ada, you're in great hands. Oh, thank you ladies so much. You both have a great day.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Miss Ada. I hope you are doing wonderful today.
I am. Thank you so much.
That is good, very good. My name again is Maureen, and I am glad to assist you with your quote today. And Miss Ada, to see if you are, yes ma'am, to see if you are eligible for any of the 2020 state-approved violence studies programs in Florida, I just need to ask a few quick medical questions to determine the level of coverage you qualify for. And I have a date of birth for you. Well, a happy early birthday. I have a date of birth for you is 11/15 of 62.
Yeah.
Okay, so you are 57 years young for just a couple more days.
Actually, month, and last month,
Well, we're three more days before this month is over, so you have about 2 weeks before your birthday.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Ms. Ada. Now, of course, because it is 2020, the COVID questions are a must. So we'll get the 2 COVID questions out of the way, and then we'll move forward with the traditional medical questions. All right, now, yes, ma'am. Can you hear me? You cut out a little. Yes, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, ma'am.
Okay, perfect, good. Now, Ms. Ada, within the last 30 days, has a medical professional administered a test on you for coronavirus for which you tested positive or for which results are not yet known, or recommended it?
No.
Okay, so it has been recommended you be tested and testing has not yet been done.
No,
Okay, good.
I have not.
Now, within the last 30 days, have you been subject to a government mandated quarantine or isolation order or been advised to self-quarantine due to suspected coronavirus or exposure to someone who's been exposed or diagnosed? Okay, perfect, wonderful. Now, have you currently or in the last 30 days been hospitalized, committed to a psychiatric facility, confined to a nursing facility, received hospice or home health care, been confined to a wheelchair due to disease, or are you awaiting an organ transplant?
No,
Okay, good. Do you require human assistance or supervision with eating, dressing, toileting, transferring from bed to chair, walking, maintaining continence, or bathing?
sometimes, because I have rheumatoid arthritis, ma'am, and I have fibromyalgia.
Okay.
My daughter,
Your daughter, say it again?
my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
she helps me when I need to be helped. Otherwise, I'm good enough to do my own thing.
Okay, so for the most, so it's not required, sometimes it just makes it a little easier?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She sounds like she's
Okay,
fine.
so then you do not require it, it's just helpful. So then you're able to answer no to that question as well.
Yes.
All right, okay, good. Now, within the last 12 months, Ms. Ada, have you been advised to have a diagnostic test, surgery, home health care, or hospitalization, which has not yet started, been completed, or for which results are unknown?
But I know of, no.
Okay, good. Yeah, you probably would know if you had. Now, have you used or been advised to use oxygen equipment for assisted breathing?
Okay, but I have.
No.
I have this picture.
Yes.
Okay, good. Have you had or been advised to have kidney dialysis?
So,
Okay,
I
good.
apologize, I just keep running, I'm just a little tired today.
No, you're fine. I will, try to keep you up as long as possible, give you some really good information. We only have 3 more questions in regards to the knockout questions, so we're almost done with this section. So no kidney dialysis, what about been diagnosed or received treatment for AIDS and or HIV?
No,
All right, have you ever been diagnosed or received treatment for Alzheimer's, dementia, Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, or cirrhosis of the liver stage C?
no,
All right, have you ever been diagnosed with more than one occurrence of the same or different type of cancer? Or are you currently receiving treatment, including taking medication for any form of cancer?
no,
Okay, good. And how tall are you, Ms. Ada?
how tall I am? I'm almost 5'11".
All right. 11, almost. And how much do you weigh?
Right now, I'm like 230.
Wow, she's skinny too.
All right.
gonna say.
Perfect.
Where is she from? She's from Florida.
Now, I am so glad that you answered no to all the knockout questions. You must be taking pretty good care of yourself. Now, you mentioned a couple things, but if you're able to answer no, that's pretty good.
Very healthy, man.
Good.
I exercise and eat right.
Good for you. Perfect. Now, Ms. Ada, these final expense programs, they have been approved by the state of Florida, really to help families against the rising cost of funeral expenses and final arrangements in general. So now that I know a little bit about your health, I'll be better equipped to help with options, eligibility, cost, and even level of benefit that you may qualify for. Now, because these are state-approved final expense plans, they are set up to work directly with banks and credit unions. So, not asking your personal information now, of course, but to say that you do at least have an active savings or checking account that was set up at a physical bank or credit union, correct?
I still with my bank, I have Chase Bank.
Okay, so it's not one of the prepaid cards or the government benefit reloadable cards, it's Chase. Okay, great. And you are responsible for your own personal finances, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, do you have pen and paper handy? You have something to write with? Because I do have some pretty important information for you to jot down.
You can tell me, I'm okay right now.
Say it again.
I can write down what you said and.
Okay, so,
So maybe just, you can put it in writing down what you're saying?
yes, to jot some stuff down.
Go ahead, son. Okay. So.
Well, what I'll do, because I can text it to you too, and I'm having a little trouble hearing, so I apologize for saying I don't want to keep making you repeat yourself, but I typically start by providing my national producer number, because it is a very important number. It lets you know that I am appointed and licensed by the state of Florida to even speak to you about these state-regulated final expense life and burial protection programs here in Florida. So, Ms. Ada, I am not a telemarketer, I'm not an operator, and I don't work for any one insurance company even. I'm a state licensed agent. So I know that you're gonna need my help, yes ma'am. I know you'll need my help applying for the Florida Regulated Final Expense Plan. But first I wanna tell you a little bit about them, how to actually apply, and then you can let me know what to do from there, okay? All right. Now, a lot of people don't even know that these types of policies exist, so they're usually really excited to find out just how simple and how affordable they are. So with the final expense benefits, they are small, they are affordable, and they're permanent whole life insurance policies regulated by the state of Florida. And they're designed for people living on or limited income, so Social Security, disability. I've even had the honor of serving some of our disabled veterans. But even if you don't fall in any of those, so even if that's not you, these policies are designed so that any income level can have something affordable for their loved ones' protection. That's really what it's about. The plans are permanent, so if you have coverage in place, it can never change. And policies pay out within 48 hours, so it'll probably be the first money that your loved ones see whenever the time does come. So, if we can get you qualified today, because that's the main thing, trying to get you qualified. If we can get you qualified, then I will have a package mailed out to you in 3 to 5, usually it's 3 to 5 days. Lately, it's been a little closer to 5 to 7 days. But either way, you'll have everything that we talked about today in black and white. Okay?
Yes, baby, how about you send that? Because right now I have a lot of things that I said, Maureen, just please send the information and I'll return it as quickly as possible.
Well, getting you approved is first and foremost, because we haven't gotten you approved for anything. I will try to get as quick as possible to at very least to get some really good information. I've been doing this for a while, and Ms. Ada, my objective is to find you the top tier benefit based on your age and based on your health. So I don't work for the insurance company, I work for you. And my role is to find you, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. So my main purpose is to find you the absolute best solution out of everything that's available. And if we can get you qualified, then your benefits will be secured for your family by applying for them over the telephone without even spending any money today. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So as a state licensed agent, Ms. Ada, it is my responsibility, and I think it is the best part of my job, is getting to know a little bit about you so that I can determine what's going to be the best possible company, what's going to be the best plan, but really what's going to be the best price available for you here in Florida, even if you've ever been turned down before. And I always do ask, have you ever been turned down or denied coverage in the past?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. How long have you been looking into life
Wait a
insurance?
minute.
That sounds like a dude.
What? That sounds like Tyler Perry.
How
He be
long have
like,
you been looking into life insurance?
Listen, I have been looking, I'm from.
That was so unfortunate.
I had Liberty Mutual and I had other things over there.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'm in Florida, you know, I just got here like, well, I've been here since 2016, that's not just got here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and I was a teacher, I worked in, at elementary school, I worked up there in 7 from County.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've been here for a while, baby.
Okay, but you said you had some stuff there, but since you've been here, nothing per se.
No, baby, I don't have any.
Okay, well, let me tell you, this is Ada, you could not have fallen into better hands, and that is for sure. A lot of my clients have been looking for years, sometimes 2 and 3 years, and they're like, wait, if I knew that you did the shopping for me, I would have called you 2, 3 years ago. So, definitely could not have fallen into better hands. Now, what made you move from New York to Florida?
The rats.
Okay, I was in New York when September 3rd, and, you know, I got sick. I got
They're
sick there.
disrespectful. They are so
And
disrespectful.
so when I came, I said, I gotta move to New York, I couldn't take the stress.
Mm.
And then I said, see, yeah, I did an application, they hired me up in Polk County, I was there and I was
It's
working.
not far, it's Polk County.
And I said, Mom,
So what were you doing when you first moved down? You were teaching in Polk County?
Winter Haven, Lakeland area, like over
teaching in
that
Polk
way.
Yeah, they
Lake
also.
City.
Yeah, not far.
8-7?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or 8-7? Village 7.
Yeah.
So I went to college with a couple people from Polk County, and that anytime I hear Polk County, I always hear it how they say it, and it's like, Polk County, like anytime it was more than 2 of them together, they'd be yelling, Polk County, and that was just their thing, so.
Oh,
Now,
you ain't never gonna live that down.
Ever.
When I got to Polk County, and I'm saying this straight up, I kept saying, Polk County, this is like people of little knowledge. I kept saying that in my head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I kept saying, oh, those people are knowledgeable, and I'm sure if they hired me, they have a lot of knowledge. They have
They were pumping up the hype. I like that. So how long did you teach? Are you still teaching or no?
No, my Lord, I'm not teaching anymore. I'm really for arthritis.
Gotcha. I know, especially in 7th grade, because that, kids around middle schoolers can be something else. They're figuring out themselves, and I can only imagine.
You know, you can't imagine what I went through when I was in my love. I don't want that for my worst enemy.
Now, how much different would you say teaching in Florida was from teaching in New York?
Teaching in New York, bruh.
Oh,
Kids doing.
I love teaching in New York.
Really?
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I love it. I love it. You know why? Because I knew that when the parents went to work, I had to take care of those babies. I had to take care of their children. And that was my goal always, to take care of other people's children.
You, that is so weird.
And you know what? There's this one thing that, and I always have in my mind, is children first. Children first.
Yeah.
Because you know what? And then, you know, so many things have happened after that. Like I said before, I almost lost my eye because of the shingles that I got in my eye. Yeah. I've had shingles and it's more than 4 times here. I'm just recovering from it.
Oh, wow. And that was, you think it was stress induced more than anything, or?
Yeah, no, let me tell you something. Whatever it was, you know, it was a lot. There was the principal, the guy, he was the sheriff before, and then he was like really rough around the edges for me, and he came back from retirement, and
Wait, before
he
she sounded really
accused me of stealing
old
from
and on
kids,
this album,
and I
and
was
there's
like,
a clip, and now she sounds really clear.
yeah. And then I passed the exam, I passed the exam, and then.
Okay.
Well.
Now that explains it.
I was bleeding out because I had, endometriosis, you know, I was a massive tear. And then they gave me, well, I can't even tell you this. Folk coming and saying, you know, what can I tell you, life is life, that's what it is.
Right. So but you're in Kissimmee now, correct?
That's what they call it, Kissimmee, but it's Polk County.
It's still, okay, that was my question,
Because it's Poinciana, my love, it's Poinciana.
oh, okay.
Certain parts.
I have an
The park
aunt that
closest to
lives in
Disney is actually
Hiawassee,
Polk
and I know that she's pretty close to Kissimmee. Well, it doesn't take her long to get to Kissimmee, but I wasn't sure how close you were. Okay, but that makes sense. So did you move down with family? Who you have here?
Well, like I said, I have two daughters. One of them is homeschooling my grandbabies. The other one teaches in Polk County up there. And she's not well at all today. She's here because the teachers, there's teachers there sick. Exposed, the principal has to be, it's been a nightmare, my love. And then they all tucked it under the table because, you know, it has to be because of the human rights, you know, right? You have to. And my daughter's my baby, she's the youngest one. I don't even think she's,
You said she's not 35 yet?
No, I don't.
This was a lady trying to get off the phone.
So they both, one of them teaches your grand, she's not actually a teacher, but their baby is a teacher, she's teaching now.
No, she's a paraprofessional, but she has all the training. She's been there since forever and more. She's now with the Head Start program. She works, you know, with the little ones, but still, the teachers are always out, she's always covering, and you know, she's exposed, the kids are exposed, they're running around like it's crazy.
Right, oh my goodness, so you have just two daughters, or you have boys too?
Well, I have two daughters. I have one that's 20 years younger than me, she's going to be, wow, my daughter's getting, I'm 58. I'm doing the math, you know. I feel like a dinosaur.
No, you sound good, Miss Ada. When you say you take care of yourself, I believe it because you sound good. Usually if you sound good, you look good. So whatever you're doing, I'm sure you should keep it up.
That hasn't been, I can't even tell you, I don't wanna keep talking about it because I feel.
We're not gonna stress out. We're talking about other stuff now anyways. We're talking about these daughters of yours. You said 138 and 134?
Yeah, that's why I'm gonna be 35.
So we have a Miss Jackie. What's your other daughter's name?
Jasenia, Miss Batista, because of her husband.
Oh, Jasenia, beautiful. How do you spell that? Jasenia.
Sjessenia.
Ooh.
Last name Batista. I have a granddaughter that went through a lot too. Kehlani couldn't, she couldn't even graduate because you know what? She at 16, you know, I'm not gonna say that she's perfect, but that little baby is my heart. She was born when my mom died.
Oh my
You
goodness.
understand that? My mom died in a month that same, my mother died in January and she was born February.
Oh my goodness. Wow. February what?
My baby is February 19th.
Okay, I'm the 2nd of February, so I always ask. And you said, how do you say Jasenia, that this is Jasenia's daughter?
Yeah, that's what you go
Just turned
down.
19.
I'm working with you, you can't, you just said, I'm trying to move forward, but I'm gonna continue with you.
And it sounds like you have a lot of love around, so from those two daughters, how many grandkids do you have?
I have, now I gotta laugh, I have young 26. She's my blessing, that little one. Her name is Marina. Marina, she's a trip. Yes, she's a trip.
So you have Marina, and then what was the third? You said Jasenia's, the one that was born after your mom passed. What was her name?
Well, she's a boy. Oh, that's my Xavier.
Xavier, okay.
Yeah, that's my strong one. She was calling the, he's strong, that boy, like. Yeah, I told him that's the Daniel son, because the only thing his sister gave birth, you know, my daughter gave birth to, I don't know if you understand, like, the little one gave birth to the son that the big one didn't have. And he just like, I told him, he got a memory like an elephant, they don't forget anything, they're like GPS. You know, and I called him strong on Lou because of, you know, I'm not for him, but you know what? I said, baby, you know what, you strong by Lou, and then the little one pop out of nowhere, she goes, what's grandma? What are you talking about? And she was trying to tell, yeah.
And that's Marina, that's the tattletale?
Girl, you don't even know, the minute daddy comes into the door, Dad, you wanna know something? She takes him in the room.
I'm not taking you in the room.
And then he told him down here, don't but check this one out, Marie. She told him, I said, Marina, you speak Spanish, you have to speak Spanish because, you know, the power is in unless you know, you have to be bilingual, trilingual, whatever, you know? She said, well, I don't speak Spanish too much, so one day I called her, I said, to the father, I said, she said she don't speak Spanish at all. He goes, Marina, what do you say to daddy when you lose a tooth? Because she was the Russian child. She is frugal as can be. She has her stash.
Wait, you're talking about
Is she
6-year-old?
Girl, I'm not telling you stories. I'm just sitting here in the throne, just sitting here talking to you, man. You know, and that's, you know, I make wreaths because I needed to make some money and, you know, I make wreaths. I do DIY to do what I can to make a little bit of money.
My sister-in-law does that.
Yeah, so she comes out and she says, Grandma, I told my father, dame $10.
Give me $10.
And then she would be look, she would bump him to, he gives her the money. The money. Yeah.
That is.
Yeah, but I think let me tell you something, I don't wanna tell you my business, but my brother on my father's side was killed in Indiana.
Oh, man.
There was a lot of years over here in Universal Studios. It's been, you know, hard on him.
This is recently?
Yeah, everything happened like in this 2020 thing.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry to hear that. But you, like I said, Ms. Ada, you sound like you are, I know things happen, but you sound like you're holding it together very well. It sounds like the grands are really what are keeping you going. It sounds like they are your heart. Okay, so you have Xavier, you have Marina, Kalani, and who are we missing? How many grands do you have total?
3. No, it's Kaylani, not Kalani.
Kaylani. Oh, sorry. Don't let me
Get
do
that
that.
baby name right.
Yeah, okay, Kaylani.
Kaylani.
Okay.
Yeah, I got you laughing, my love. That's good, that's good.
It is.
Yeah, Kaylani, Xavier, and then Miss Marina.
Okay, and are those all Jacqueline's, or did Miss Jacqueline have one of them?
Jackie has the girl and the boy.
Okay, okay,
Lieutenant just has the older daughter, Kaylani.
Kaylani.
This one girl.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
okay. That is a beautiful thing, that is a beautiful thing, you love your family, and it sounds like they absolutely love you.
Not in my family, if you knew anybody in New York, all you have to say, Miss Mendes, and they will share the story, you can do it. Yeah.
That is amazing. That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, and I love how you lit up when you started talking about them. And I'm glad that, especially with everything going on, I'm glad that they're all pretty much close by. Most of them, well, all of them are in Florida. They're all pretty close to you.
They're in the house.
Oh, they're real close to you then. Right.
Yeah, they in his house, Nina. And Kaylani, she works out. She's amazing, that girl. She speaks Korean. She speaks Thai. She's intelligent. I'm not saying she's a genius. But
You can say it. I won't tell anybody.
Yeah. Now she's going to Johnston University. I don't know if she wants to be a theologist. She wants to be able to be, she's got a mindset. And I tell her, baby, you do the sky's the limit because you are God's child.
Mm-hmm. You know how much feeding that into her has, I'm sure, already instilled so much strength into her. You telling her that is a big deal, because you knowing it is one thing, but you telling her that and her knowing that she's gonna take off.
All the time, let me tell you something. She was little and even little. I said, you can. Because you were born when I needed you so much, Kaylani. When they put on the tray, she was pissed off. She was fighting. She's Dominican on the dad's side.
Okay.
And I kept saying, that little girl looks like a grandmother. That little girl looks like me. I'm like, grandma, I'm like white, I'm like porcelain white, like skinny. And the grandmother started. Wow, so and I said, the grandmother was my mom's home attendant.
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah. When the grandmother said to my mom waited for her to come, she had the rabbi, she had everybody praying for her and whatever. When she got there, I had to go down because the baby was moving so much, it gets distressed. She was supposed to go, and my daughter wasn't feeling, so I went down with.
Wow. I absolutely admire you. To say that, and I love how hard you love. That's a beautiful thing, and I think that with you, I see why we're even talking today, because I love my family. I absolutely love my family, and making sure that they're protected is very important to me too. And I can tell for you, that's huge. And that makes me, I love you, Ms. Ada. You are something special. You are absolutely something special. And I'm so glad. Yes. I don't do that because.
Yeah. You know what? God put us in this earth, and He's a provider. He's been my provider always. When I didn't have, I always had. All I needed to say, if I didn't have, somebody brought me something.
That's how it works. When you believe and you trust, it'll happen. It all comes to you.
And then my sister's a pastor. My husband's a pastor. There's a whole lot of my hand hurting, girl. My hand hurts so much. Okay, I'm gonna put my phone up. You're fine. And I'm like,
so if you don't speak about I wanted to, okay, so with the state approved final defense programs here in Florida, most people already know taking a medical exam is mandatory to get the best plans and to get the lowest rates. But because these are special state regulated programs here in Florida, one of the very best parts is you don't have to worry about any physical medical exams. They're not required like the most larger policies. I just have a few basic health questions to really see if you qualify. Because the first set that we went on, those are knockout questions, but these will actually determine the cost and the level of benefits that you may be eligible for, to truly see if we can get you approved and who we can get you approved to, okay? Yes? All right, now, they do check our answers against what's called the Medical Information Bureau, which is an insurance database that records any health questions you may have answered, your prescription history, if you either applied for coverage in the past or if you've ever gone to the hospital. I always say that it is very important that you answer the questions as openly and as honestly as possible. Because the more information I know about your health, and I don't think that you're gonna have any problem with that, this survey is very open, and I love it, I love it, I love it. So the more I know about your health, the more benefits I may be able to get you qualified for, okay? Yes. Now, have you smoked any cigarettes in the last quarter? No. Okay, good. Now, in the last 2 years, have you been diagnosed or received treatment for any of the following? The use of alcohol or drugs, or have you been advised to restrict the use of alcohol or drugs? No. Okay. Any complications of diabetes, such as diabetic coma or insulin shock, or have you had any amputations through the complications of any disease? No. Okay. What about heart attack, angina, chest pain, congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, stroke? Yep. And this is within the last 2 years. So which one is, yes? In the last 2 years. Heart attack, angina, chest pain, congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, stroke, TIA, aneurysm, or had any heart or circulatory surgery in the last 2 years? 2 years, no, not that I know, no, I don't know. So which one were you thinking that you were saying yes to? Which one did you almost say yes to? Okay, I can tell you that I've been hospitalized right here in Louisiana. No heart attack, no. So nothing with the heart, because this question is more so asking about heart stuff specifically. So chest pain, heart attack, heart failure, stroke. Okay, so no to all of those. What about in the last 3 years, have you been diagnosed, treated, or prescribed medication for any cancer, internal cancer, including but not limited to malignant brain tumor, malignant melanoma?
Okay, we'll get back to Miss Ada tomorrow. But a couple things with that call. I let Miss Ada go long on the rapport build. She cried. I skipped over a couple little things in there just because I let her go long because when I told you guys, I know when I'm locked in and when I'm not. So because I had the trainees listening, I'm doing this and so I missed a couple things. So I did some extra laughing just so she could keep going because I was not engaged. But I love that with her, she came through and she was like, just send it to me. I'm not. They may not be engaged. They may not be aware of or care, but you have to be able to acknowledge and pivot. I'll try to be as quick as possible.
Yes.
And we go back into, go back into the script. Starting off, she was really dry with answering the health questions, but stay your course, trust the process, and get through it. Rapport build, I let her go too long, but I know why. It's because I was not engaged. But let them go. She opened up, and I'm sweetheart, everything else. She cried a little bit in part of it, which a lot of stuff that she brought up in mod 2, when we're building rapport, I tried not to let her go too far down the rabbit hole about death because she mentioned some death. You want to save that for mod 4. In mod 2, you want them to be as upbeat as possible and talk about everything that they love and just get them feeling good. And then we get them to feel in mod 4. The praising health at one point in the beginning, and you'll see in the script where it does say great because they're able to answer no to all of the knockout questions. You want to thank them for that because if they can't get past that, then there's no moving forward. So you don't want to get used to saying, oh, good, wonderful, because then when you get into the health questions at the second part, you don't want to keep saying good. But again, at the knockout part, it's great. I do it more. I usually coach to not do it because until you really get in there and you have an understanding of the process, again, you don't want to get comfortable with saying yes, wonderful to the health questions and bleed that into the second set of health questions. So again, you thank them up front for being able to answer no to the knockout questions and you move forward. With the health questions at the front and at the back, don't be afraid to ask questions to make sure that they are giving you correct yeses, because they may say yes, but the question's saying a 2-year time frame, and they're telling you about a heart attack they had 8 years ago. You want to make sure that, because if they're saying yes, then the rates are going to go up. So you want to verify that they are actual yeses if it should be. And you want to clarify that, make sure that you know. When we go into Mod 3 and we discuss the health questions, we'll take a little bit of time to make sure that you guys are aware of what's being asked, because it's verbatim. If it's, oh, no, well, actually I did this, but well, the question's asking, did this happen? Because we would prefer them to be able to answer no if they can. But if it's a yes, then it's a yes. If it's a no, we want it to be a no.
Is the COVID questions, are those qualifying questions where if they've been exposed all that,
30 days.
then it's an absolute no?
For 30 days. So they have to be able to say no. They have to be able to have a no within 30 days. So if it was July and now they're good, then move forward. But if they have a yes, then you want to wait till let's say it was 2 weeks ago. Well, we'll give it another 2
days
weeks
or
so that you can answer no to that question.
Okay.
Just call them back.
So it's just a temporary thing, it's not because I was like, what in the heck is it a no? If they get it, I'm like, I don't understand, not everybody dies from it. But I can see
These are the elderly people probably.
And also, as an insurance company, we don't know what long-term effects happen from COVID. We don't know how that's going to affect it. You having it means maybe in 2 years you might die. Now, giving you a policy where you have it's them just covering
Yeah, I've heard
themselves.
it's given a couple people heart issues, like after having.
there's all kinds of issues,
Gone,
heart,
Yeah, I was gonna
lung,
say, it was-
all kinds of
yeah,
stuff.
like,
And now people are dying
respiratory
from
and
vaccinations.
So we do talk about COVID, we have to.
We're talking about the health aspect of it, not the political side of it.
I don't know any political side. I just
So
know the
no,
health
we
one.
have to, those are 2 questions that we ask up front to make sure we can proceed. Because depending on how they answer will determine whether or not we can proceed.
Right.
But we will start breaking the script down on tomorrow. So literally, I'm pretty verbatim when it comes to the script. So pretty much what you guys heard is what's going to be on the script, at least for Mod 1. Mod 2, you freestyle it. Hitting the points, obviously, but it is where you just kind of sit back and you just have a conversation. Don't give as much conversation as Miss Ada, I know, but you want to spend, because I was 10 minutes over how long I probably should have stayed in Mod 2 with her.
Yeah, I was looking
That's
at
It
it.
was funny, some of it
Like,
was quite funny.
Yeah, she was entertaining, and then it was again, me doing
It was
too
her own
many
process.
things, and she was kind of just crying and laughing, making herself cry. So
is that
she
why
was
you're getting
interesting.
confused between the kids' names and stuff?
And then, yeah, it was a lot going on. So, but she was happy to talk, and because she was kind of dry too, and I saw that she had opened up, I let her go a little bit too, but it was more so because I was not all the way locked in. But she ended up writing a policy. She's good. I think she emailed me the other week too.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, so I will let you wonderful people head out of here. We will pick up tomorrow, pretty much where we left off. I'm not gonna jump right back into this, Ada, but yeah, tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will see your smiling faces. Or at least your faces. Hopefully you're smiling. Hopefully you all come back and I didn't scare you away today, but.
You encourage me.
Oh, good.
You can do this, I'm telling you.
Yes.
I was scared and excited at the same time.
I was afraid that it was going
This
to.
is good. Well, I'm a newbie. I've had one traumatizing experience.
Oh, so I didn't even touch on that.
2018, and that
The
was
people
it.
that do the best are the ones that have nothing to go off of. Miss Madison, I'm out of here. Call me if you need me. I don't want to get up close and personal, but call me if you need me. Good day. You are welcome, and I look forward to tomorrow too.
See, my fear was that